together with a 3-month-long series containing over 50 races with mixed formats and challenges. Team up with friends to manage your finances, car performance, and sponsor contracts, or go solo and manage your favourite car across the whole season, utilising the daily, weekly, and monthly challenges to add some spice to your online racing. The best thing? You decide your career, with 7 different paths to choose from. Minimum effort is no effort. ACC Career Mode Quarter 1 contains 5 races a week, all stewarded and commentated live with a range of formats from 4 to 12 hour endurance races to 25-minute sprints. The full race calendar is available at acm-racing.com, with individual race sign-up taking place on SimGrid. Only available on Assetto Corsa Competizione PC European-based league.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome in, or good morning and or good evening, depending, of course, on where you are in multinational grid. We've got once again for another ACM Endurance charity race. My name is John Wright, and on behalf of TrackSpot TV, I'll be taking us through all of the action for today from a charity fundraiser for the Air Ambulance Service. It's safe to say one of the most vital services there is in the land. They do an absolutely incredible job. We'll touch on more on that in a moment, but it's a pay to win. Oh yes, your donations can help or hinder your teams or your rivals out on track today. We've got the link pinned in the chat. You can jump on there and make a donation, and as I say, help or hinder anyone you so desire out on track. These races are a whole lot of fun, and the charities make a good bit of money as well, which is much needed. Of course, ACM sponsored by G Portal, offering premium gaming servers with the best hardware, a clear web interface, and fair prices. And I can confirm, I wholeheartedly agree with all of those, because that is where my Valheim server is. So I'm a huge advocate for that particular sponsorship. But of course today, the most important thing of all, we are here for a fundraiser for the Air Ambulance Service, delivering life-saving care through 2 vital services. The National Children's Air Ambulance operates across England, Scotland and Wales, providing specialist transfers for critically ill babies and children. Can confirm, my daughter was in need of their services back in the day, so absolutely love these people. Your local air ambulance brings rapid emergency care to communities across Warwickshire, Northamptonshire, Derbyshire, Leicestershire and Rutland. Their mission is simple: help children grow up, help adults live longer, and help families stay together, because loss through sudden trauma should be rare. From the ground to the air, day and night, every service under their banner works tirelessly to deliver critical care wherever and whenever it is needed. And together, we can save more lives. We've already raised £125 so far. We have some penalties coming in already from ACM themselves. Let's get this started. Can confirm they've made the vast, well, in fact, they've made all of the donations so far. So there's 20 kilograms each going to 5 cars already. We'll get a look at that in a moment. There is a little in-game mechanism we can use to keep a track of that. The cars are out in qualifying. And as we can see, they've got 11 minutes left to go, and it is Morris Jones who is atop the table at the moment, as he just completely negates the final chicane. Bit of a shortcut there. This obviously won't be a timed lap. 1 minute 40.485. Not too bad a time at all. In fact, we didn't even get to mention the track yet. My apologies. We're here at Imola. For anyone that hasn't instantly recognised the track, of course, one of the most famous tracks for good and bad reasons that there has ever been, and probably ever will be. 1953, this little beauty was thrown together, and much like Zandvoort and a couple other tracks, it's only down to the local mayor. Who ever thought we'd say that about politicians? It was down to local mayors twice that completely saved the track from extinction. Funding was out the window, and to say that the original pit lane wasn't quite up to modern day health and safety standards would be somewhat of a gargantuan understatement. It has all been completely redone, and now it's only the glass tower that remains from the original construction. 3 miles long, almost exactly 3 miles long for the drivers. Basically 3 chicanes and a couple of straights. It does simplify it somewhat, as we see. In fact, Morris Jones down into one of the most famous corner complexes on the planet, Aqua Minerale. This little beauty here will see side-by-side contact. It is just the nature of the beast. And look how much care they're taking there already. Absolutely full commitment, and it looks like Morris Jones is actually on a pretty good lap at the moment as well. It looks like we've got 24 competitors out today. Yep, confirmed. We've got 24 out. So 24 teams that you can throw your donations at. Remember now, let me just see if it does. Sorry, bear with me one moment as I have a quick flick through Quali and have a look at some of the teams. Hooray, they are picking up a whole lot of curve on the inside. We're also going to have someone from the air ambulance joining in today. So if anyone does have any questions, queries, or thanks if anyone has had to avail themselves of the air ambulance service and you're in the chat, let us know. And we will pop the questions. I believe it is Andy that is coming in to speak to us today. Right, okay, there we go. Aha! Okay, yes, so sorry, just confirmation. So here is what we're looking at for the penalties. For €5, £4. You can add 5 kilograms of ballast. For £7.50 or €10, you can add 10 kilograms of ballast. It's 20 kilograms of ballast for €20, which is £15, or 40 kilograms of ballast for €40, which is £30. You can also add time penalties, 5 seconds, which are stackable. So for £3 or €4, you can add 5 seconds to any car you want. They are stackable. A drive-through is £15, €20. A stop-go 10-second penalty is £23, €30. And a stop-go 30 seconds is a bargain at £38 or €50. There will be no limit to time penalties. However, penalties forcing driver into the pit lane can only be applied one time per car per hour. If a penalty is removed before the end of the hour, it can be reapplied if someone purchases it again. Because remember, you can pay to remove penalties as well. During the practice session, ballast can be set on your competitors' cars. This will be locked at the end of practice for the entire quali session and the first hour of the race. During the race, penalties will be locked in on the 55th minute of the hour based on UTC time to give the admin time to apply the penalties. Any donations received after this time will be applied the following hour. There may be a 10 to 15 minute gap for penalties to be applied due to availability. There will also be a crazy hour. Haha! The race will have crazy hour every 6 hours where penalties are applied immediately. This means on the 6th and 12th, the final hours will have penalties applied immediately. No penalties can be purchased or removed once the in-game clock reaches 10 minutes remaining. All of that can be found on the ACM website. Let me throw a link in the chat for you all. We've got the donation link pinned. There's a link to the website. On the right hand side at the top you'll see donation pricing. That will give you the guide and the rules surrounding the penalties for you to peruse at your leisure. Let me get back to a screen where I can see what we've got going on. But it's still Morris Jones, and I tell you what, he is on a very quick lap here. Oh, now he's just lost a bit of time there actually, but he was showing purple, so it was a very good sector when he had. I believe all 24 cars. Wow, and he's wrestling that bad boy. 36-degree track temperature though, so no surprise. Those tyres will be toasty for him. That is for sure. They're just looking for a link as well. Oh, no, he's pulled his car over. Let's jump on board someone that is on a quick lap, and it is Stanislav Kartovic, who is pretty quick. He's in the Nissan GTR as well. It's not often, it's good, sorry, we do that, but are more often seeing these cars making an appearance. We've got a Bentley in here, we've got a couple of Nissans, and at the moment Stanislav is putting his to good use. He is currently 7/10 behind the pole sitter. It's quite the gap that the car up at the front have got. They are in for yeah, opening up a big gap early if they can clock those type of times in the race. 1 minute 40.4 for Morris Jones. Kartovic with a 41.1. He is going a bit quicker here. Only by a tenth or two though, and he is coming towards the end of the lap, so he will close the gap and potentially get into the 40s. But I think he's still going to have about half a second or so to go before he gets near pole position. Let's see if he does get into the 40s. He does. 1 minute 40.8, so he is within 4/10 of a second. So he is closing the gap. Only 3.5 minutes left to go though. Stuart Woolley is out on track as well. I'm not getting the team name information, my apologies. But Woolley is out in the number 68, his Porsche. He is on a quick lap at the moment as well. And apologies, it's only 22 cars that have set a time so far. Badir and Mogul, VIN, down at the back of the grid, not set a time yet. And it does look like VIN, I don't think they are going to set a time because they're still in the pits. We're on board with Woolley. He's just lost the time he had as well. So he was on a quick lap, but he has negated that. Let's see what Peltier can do. Just coming around the last corner, the BMW flies across the start-finish line. We'll see at least one position in improvement here. Indeed, gets up to 7th place. Morris Jones, he is just coming to the end of an out lap here. He's got 2 minutes left, so plenty of time for him. Kartovic is in the pits. 3rd place, Chris Davies is a 10th down on his lap. Sorry, just checking some logistics in the background there. Oh, yeah, no, he is actually, 10th down, sorry. At the moment, we're through turn 12, Aqua Minerale, so a bit of time to make that back up, but he has lost it. Ooh, where do we go now? Peltier is still up on his lap, but Morris Jones, he has seen the charge coming from Kartovic, and he is going purple once again. Get a look at how much curb they use through Aqua Minerale. This is an interesting one. I love watching them through this section. Crest the hill, heavy on the brakes, throw the car in, on the accelerator as quickly as possible. So much green curbing under that front splitter. We're now down into Aqua Minerale. Up the hill we go. So much curbing coming on the left-hand side. Look at all the rubber on there as well. And into the final chicane, and he has gained time. Morris Jones is looking to fully separate himself from the rest of the field here. Absolute violence over the curbs for the final chicane. The Variante Alta, of course, down there at the bottom of the screen. Down the hill we go into Ravazza. One corner left to go. I tell you what, he's going to get very close to a 40 flat here. Yep, this is going to be a 40.2. He's about to extend that gap by another 0.2 of a second. There we go, 1 minute 40.2, and he's got time for another one. Is he going to stay out? We can see down at the bottom there, purple sector 2, so he actually went slower in sector 1. If he can tidy up sector 1, he's going to find another 10th or 2 in there as well, and could very well start knocking on the door of a 39, which would be not too bad a showing, especially in a 30-degree track temperature. Kartovic is still in the pits. It looks like he is done in qualifying, although we do have another contender for the front 2 rows. Let's have a look at Tobias Voernveld. He's coming around the last corner in his McLaren, and he is on for an almighty improvement. He is about to pop himself right at the death of qualifying onto the front row as Voernveld over the line, and it's invalid. What has gone on there? Oh no, sorry, I said it was a 42.2. My apologies, it looked like he was on for a big improvement there. Cassandra Pickering on for an improvement as well, down to an 11th of 2/10, but we've got Morris Jones, who is again threatening to improve on his whole time. Let's see what he can do around the last corner. It doesn't improve that when that is quali already come to an end. And there is our pole sitter. Bear with me a moment and we'll get up the quali results and we'll get a look at the grid. Oh, in fact, they're already on the grid, so we can do a straight rundown. In fact, what I'll also do... sorry, bear with me a moment. What we're going to do, we're going to bring the link up on screen so that we can see the donations coming in. Actually, we do need to change that. My apologies, folks. We will get a rundown of the grid in a moment. So much better. There we go. We can actually see that now. Perfect. Nice. We'll get that running there. And what we will do is get a look at the starting grid. There's our poster. Sorry, we'll try and make this a little bit bigger. Perfect. So, let's have a look at the starters grid. As we saw, Tombola, Morris Jones taking the top spot there. One of only 2 drivers into the 1 minute 40s. There's Kartovic, of course, in second place. Third place, Chris Davies. And then in fourth, it's Dario Brems for TGB. Fifth position, Maddie Grace in the BMW. Let's turn the brakes down a bit, shall we? Then it's Danielle Cataldo The Mustangs making a good showing in the top 10. Now it's Peltier starting in 7th place in the BMW. It's Rodriguez starting in 8th. In 9th position, it's Marie Sophia. In 10th position, Lucas Blom in the McLaren after that late charge by their car. Oliver Anderson starting in 11th. Then in the Nissan GT-R, it's Mitchell Sterenberg starting in 12th. 13th place is Stuart Woolley in the Porsche. We've got T. Botcher starting in 14th place in the McLaren. Rosenboom starting in car 21, the Mustang, in 15th place. Daniel Estevez, starting in 16th position. And it's Francesco Berizzolo starting in 17th. Edward Dan from the land down under, no less. He is starting in 18th. And we've got Adam Boric starting in 19th. Love that Cheetos livery. Borum Adin Gazov starting in 20th position. Alexandros Lataus starting in 21st. Then it's Freddie Wally starting in 22nd position. Hamza Badir starting in 23rd. In 24th place, Ansgar Mogul not quite bringing up the rear of the field, as we have one more competitor starting in the pits. So we will see. Let me remove that. There we go. And in fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll pop the corner name up there and we'll make the donations bigger. Apologies, there we go. Bit of behind the scenes technical jiggery pokery going on. That is incorrect. So there we go. Reminder again, it is the air ambulance that we're raising money for. All your penalties will go to very much determining how the race goes out, but your donations can also make a huge difference, saving people's lives and improving the quality of life for children. As I said, my own daughter needed an air ambulance when she was first born. It was on standby. Thankfully, we didn't actually use the air ambulance. They waited until the next day to do her heart surgery, so we were able to transfer her by ambulance. But they did have the air ambulance on the roof ready to go while she was being born, basically, while her mum was in labour. So an incredible organisation, very close to my heart, and a lot of people as well. As I say, we'll get Andy in to give us a talk through the work that they do. So make sure you tune out. You make sure you get donating to help fund a phenomenal cause, because let's face it, the government certainly aren't going to do anything to help most of us, are they? There we go. There we go. Let's concentrate on the racing. We are about to see 24 cars, or 23 cars, for 12 hours. In fact, we do have another two come in. There we go. It's green flags, it's foot down, it's flat out, and it is flying into turn number 1, and it is a phenomenal start. And it's actually Nikolai Polyakov that is behind the wheel, and he's already taken a position. He's got the jump on Morris Jones into the first corner, and Nikolai Polyakov, takes contact, gets sent off. The race leader, he's been taken off in the first corner. There's a huge concertina effect as well. Look at the stramash that we've got going on into that first chicane. That is approximately 12 cars have been caught out there. It looked like one of the McLarens was the wrong way round. We've got confirmation on all of that in a moment. I can't confirm though that Chris Davies is now in the lead of the race. Morris Jones is in second place. That will correct itself in a moment, folks, but I can't confirm. It's Chris Davis in the lead, Morris Jones in second, and Maddie Garcia up into third place. Mitchell Sterenberg, what a start, up 7 positions with all that going on. Touré up 7 as well. There's Polyakov there down 10 positions. Dario Brems as well on the receiving end there, as well as Cassandra Pickering down 15 position. That BMW looking fairly battle bruised. Let's very quickly, in fact, see if we can see what's going on here. So here's the BMW here coming into the first chicane. Let's go helicam and see what's happened. Oh yeah, just wrong place, wrong time. The McLaren up the front, and yeah, everyone has clattered into that, to use a very Scottish colloquialism. And that's put a lot of drivers right out of position and giving them an absolute uphill struggle for the next 12 hours, but that is what they're here for. Remember, folks, you can help their progress. You can remove weight from the car, you can add weight to the car. Davies with a fastest lap. We're going to see another attempt at an overtake here into the first chicane involving Morris Jones. He's got the inside line and he sailed himself through there. Phenomenal use of the slipstream, excellent exit out of the last corner, and that puts Morris Jones up into first place once again. We've got Chris Davies, who is still hanging on there. Now, Nikolai Polyakov back to 11th position. Let me just clip that so we can keep an eye. He's already made back one spot, and in fact, there is another one at the expense of Anderson, and it's Estevez that is next on his list. And he's got, and there's a concertina effect there. That's not what you need into Toza, especially when you've got someone like Polyakov lurking. They're going to go side by side on the way into Aqua Minerale, and he is going to lap up an easy 3 places here, because that is what Polyakov does. In fact, sorry, yeah, he's at the front of this group. It's actually Touré, and is it? Oh, and he's round. Touré is round in his McLaren. He's taking a bit of contact at the top of the hill. A Piratella Spinala, and that is Touré flopping his way back down the grid. That's Dario Brents, who's still in contention there. Polyakov did take 2 positions. As predictive, Polyakov pounced as soon as he could, and that is another 2 spots. That's him already back up to 8th position. Up at the top is a 3-way fight effectively for the lead of the race at the moment, though. It's Chris Davis who is doing most of the defending. Maddie Grace absolutely flying there with the purple sector 3. So Davies has got the fastest lap of the race. Maddie Garcia, sorry, got the Garcia has got. Oh, there we go. Morris Jones sets the fastest lap as purple sector's coming in. Wow, yep, he is absolutely flying. Morris Jones has been released up at the front of the field. We've already got penalties coming in. Of course, there was time penalties came in from ACM already. They're now being distributed amongst the teams. I think they have been tactically targeted as some of the quicker teams. Let's see, yep, and that is 4, 5, 6. They did get a penalty at the start of the race, caught up in that incident. Down to 24th position after starting in 9th and carrying damage and a 10-second penalty. So a difficult start to the race for car 4, 5, 6. But again, you can aid them, just put penalties on everyone else. That's exactly what we are here for. Let's see, the battles are going on. Pedro Rodriguez and Dario Brens threatening to go side by side at the top of Piratella, and it's not just a threat as action is taken. The McLaren sails up the inside, leaving the pair of BMWs in its wake as Anderson and Edward Dan, the Australian driver. Oh no, sorry, that is Dan sitting just back there. That's Anderson, that's Rodriguez. My apologies, it is Brems that got the overtake done there. Got my drivers and cars mixed up ever so slightly. Let's see, did Polyakov get a penalty? I think he did. I'm sure he was mentioned in that list, so we'll see. No, he wasn't, in fact. No, so Polyakov's car wasn't generously given a penalty by ACM to start the race. The rest of the quicker cars around him absolutely were, so that could be a bit of a saving grace. There is Jones putting in more fastest laps. He is getting quicker and quicker. Track temperature still at 36 degrees, so the same as it was in qualifying. Oh, as he crossed the line once again, so yeah, serious temperatures for the drivers to be dealing with. I'd much prefer them down in the 20s. So the tyres will definitely get their usage over the 65-minute stint timer that the drivers must adhere to. Of course, it is a 65-minute timer. Apologies, I didn't mention that. But it is your standard 65 minutes the drivers are allowed out on track, and that looks like some fun times going on with Edward Dan there. He's looking to go around the outside of the Bentley, trying to take the inside line on the exit to the corner. Couldn't quite manage. Oh, and he's run himself a bit deep, and he's going to potentially lose a position here. Tobias Vunval does go past him into Toza, but the Lexus has got the inside line, so he comes straight back at him. So this is now a battle. In fact, I think we get a good front splitter cam on the McLaren. We do indeed. So let's the BMW, sorry. So let's jump on with Rodriguez. He's got Vunveld ahead of him. It does look to be a bit more committed on the brakes there. He's had to run himself a bit deep to avoid making contact with the car in front of him, and that's led Vunveld to have another go at Edward Dan if he can. But we know what that Lexus is like in a straight line. If you don't, spoiler alert, it is quick. There's not many cars that can keep up with the top end speed of that thing. And certainly Dan using it to good use at the moment. Ooh, and that is not as committed as you would like to be through there for Voonveld. And here we think we're going to see Rodriguez come straight back into contention here for the potential overtake on the exit to Ravazza. Oh, and if he doesn't get the overtake done, he's certainly going to have some slipstream advantage going to the cars behind. Now that is Mogul, who's already had a good start. He's up 9 positions. Another car that's in a Lexus, and he is going to have some very good top-end speed, given the slipstream advantage that he's got. He's going to absolutely destroy that Ferrari in a straight line. It's not even a competition, and he will take the lead, or will take the position into the chicane very easily. Indeed, keeps the car positioned perfectly on the racing line. Oh, and one of the BMWs has lost the spot there. That's Rodriguez. So Rodriguez, nothing registering on the incident sheet, but he has lost his way through the first chicane. Morris Jones has definitely not lost his way. I did say he would be a force to be reckoned with at the start of the race. 3.1 seconds is now the gap that he's got. That is pretty impressive. We'll have a quick look at some of the replays and see. Yeah, Lethor got caught out as well. It's all about this first chicane. We'll try and figure out which McLaren it was. Yep. Oh, it can so easily turn from a mid-speed apex. Oh, double contact there. From a mid-speed apex into a parking lot, and that's exactly what's happened there. We've recently had an incident with Stuart Woolsey as well. This was fairly recent. This is him in the Porsche. Oh, he does get himself a bit over on the curb on the left there, which is going to slow the momentum. You can see the Lexus going around the outside. Oh, and he's done himself there. Too much inside curb, unfortunately, for Woolley, and that's taken him out in the first chicane. It definitely is a hot spot for the drivers. This is Estevez. Now, this is one I think we just caught the back of. Oh, now that was maybe slightly too committed. To the curb. Oh wow, the Cheetos machine ends up right over there. Estevez, yeah, they went very slowly. He is redressing the position, but a couple of clumsy incidents for a couple of drivers. We'll get some more replays in a moment, because we do have Badir who's coming to the pits. And that is how quickly he managed to get the car stopped. The wheels are still spinning. That doesn't look particularly promising. Morris Jones still up at the front. Let's see, there we go. It's actually Ansur Mogul that I'm looking for. This battle with Voonveld very much still in firm focus for the two of these drivers at the minute. And also Cassandra Pickering, who tumbled down the order after starting in 9th, has rocketed back through and does have Mason Rosenboom. Oh, his Mustang looking particularly battered and bruised. Let's see if we... Yeah, I'll tell you what, let's have a look at the replay. I know there's probably about... Oh, right, okay, so yeah, he was caught up in this one at the start. So here it is from Rosenboom's perspective, and certainly if you're driving. So you can see the spin up ahead. He knows that there's danger. And yeah, just no place to go to. I believe he was there. No, he wasn't caught up in another incident. So that's how Rosenboom ended up with the damage as well. That opening lap issue. That's turn 2, of course. The left-hand kink is turn number 1. So it was turn 2. Another driver coming a cropper. Mogul and Voonveld still very close. And I believe we will soon have Andy jumping in. So we will keep an eye out on that as well. Hello to everyone in the chat. Who do we have? We had ET Master in as soon as we went live. Oh, he's looking to get the move done there at the turn 1 as I look at the chat. 863, always back of the pack challenge. Right, got you. Andrea Panicho, unfortunately, I'm still struggling to learn English. So I'm not entirely sure what that says. Someone did find it funny though. What DLC packs do I need? All of them, but for this one specifically, it's the 2020 season DLC. Yes, CD keys or loaded.com. Or certainly there is another couple of websites as well, but that's the one I use. You can get them at a very good price, especially given the age of the game. But yeah, welcome in everyone. Remember, the donation link is pinned in the chat. I can give you all the information about the campaign, and we've also got the link, I believe, is this one, where you can keep track of the penalties as they come in, and you can see the donation pricing in there as well, which explains how much money you need to donate to hand out the penalties. We'll keep an eye on the racing. This is just outside the top 5. In fact, it is the top 5. Polyakov has made back another few positions. He's already back up to 5th place, but maybe we should have just stayed on board with him. He is now leading this little group of 3, so he's actually just got the overtake done. Sterenberg doing his best to keep up, but yeah, Polyakov is an absolute monster behind the wheel of any car. He is a GT4 specialist. I've seen him do things in GT4s that I can't even do in a GT3 car. He definitely specialises in those, but he's no slouch behind the wheel of these either. He hasn't put in the quickest lap of the race at any point so far, but he has put in the most consistent. Which is unsurprising, and considering the contact he took right at the start of the race, that is not too bad at all. Borum Edin Gazop has had a good start to the race as well, up 10 positions in the boat late, managing to avoid much of the stramash that's gone on. In fact, has made up 4 positions in the last 2-3 laps. So on a bit of a charge at the moment, it's Oliver Anderson that is being lined up for the next overtake. Andrew Mogul certainly seems to have dispensed with this battle with Voonveld. The Lexus getting the job done and managing to break the slipstream where it's important. And certainly here, yep, we can see that gap. What is that sitting at? Yeah, sitting just over the second mark. So yep, he has broken that slipstream to Voonveld. Voonveld's going to have to do some serious work to get caught back up. Cassandra Pickering is still closing in on this overtake, but unable to find their way past Mason Rosenboom. The 2 damaged cars, though, are being quickly approached by Perizzolo in the Ferrari. Now, normally, a track like this... Oh! And that is a late and clumsy attempt at an overtake there from Perizzolo. Certainly at first view, that was clumsy, and that is Pickering once again being caught out. Wrong place, wrong time. Just an innocent bystander. And collected once again and back down to 22nd with a little bit more damage. So yeah, as well as the paid penalties that are coming in, I think we will see a few. There is a few that have come in from the stewards as well. I do not, unfortunately, my apologies, have the penalty sheet open. Let's do that. Yeah, so we'll keep up to date with the stewards' penalties as well. As I say, yeah, we're still live stewarding, so any naughtiness will be punished. Let's see, Tom Morris-Jones, he's got a 10-second penalty from ACM, and he has got himself a 7-second gap over the rest of the field. It's Chris Davies in 2nd place with Garcia in 3rd, Butol in 4th, and Nikolai Polyakov in 5th position. He is currently 6 seconds behind the driver ahead of him. We shall see if he can catch up. Let's jump on to... we'll have a look around the field. I'll bring you an update on the penalties that we've got. So let's see, yes, Touré Borok. Touré received a penalty. Akos Borok did get a 15-second penalty for lap 7. Maddie Garcia got a lap 1 penalty of 10 seconds. Cassandra Pickering's been given a 10-second penalty for lap 1. Tombola Morris-Jones has also been given. So that is a 10-second penalty for... Oh yes, of course, that is for lap 1, his car 777. So there might still be more coming in as well from the paid penalties. Daniel Estevez has received 5 seconds for a lap 2 incident. Dario Brems has received a 5-second penalty for a lap 2 incident. We've also got Adam Borak, as I mentioned, 10-second penalty. That was for an incident on lap number 5. Mitchell Sternberg has got a 5-second penalty for a lap 7 incident. We've got Francesco Berizzolo has picked up 5 seconds, as well as Sampa Pelteri picking up 5 seconds. Those were for incidents on lap 8 and 9 respectively. So the stewards, keeping the pencil sharp, they have been busy so far. Back out on track though. Let's stop that and see where we are at. We're on board with Anderson and Brems at the moment. The battle for 7th position continues on. This is in a good position at the moment, very close to Brems, and the 2 cars ahead both got penalties to serve at their next pit stop. Borak's in fact up to 25 seconds so far, so that is a hefty amount of time that will be completely stationary in the pits. We'll see how much change that makes to the running order. I think it's going to be fairly significant. We do still have about 40 minutes, I would say, before we start seeing the first raft of pit stops. I know that Badir has been in and out again to get some damage repairs. So is Andre Galea and his teammates. Oh yeah, Claudio Andre is the driver that started there. In fact, who else is Polyakov driving with today? In fact, yeah, so Morris Jones. Okay, there's 2 of them. We've got Tom Morris Jones and Tom Bola Morris Jones. Oh yeah, of course, Kartovic. It's Polyakov and Kartovic. Yeah, they are going to be a force to be reckoned with over the race. Let's see, we currently have still Brems, Pelteri and Anderson battling away, although Anderson I think has made a bit of a mistake and he's ended up a fair bit of time down, and he has now got Gazot closing him down. Brems is closer to Pelteri though as they exit the first chicane, already turn number 4 under their belt, heading into chicane number 2. The Variante Villeneuve and then into Tosa. They're absolutely firing through there. He's managing to keep the gap close. We've also got, as I say, Mogul and Sternberg. Vurenveld well down on that position, and Stuart Woolley in the poor, so he can gain back some positions as well. Into turn number 1, thinks about it there, trying to get the move done on Rosenboom. His damaged Mustang still holding on to that 17th position. Cassandra Pickering has managed to make back at least 1 spot since that second incident. Been not much in the way of luck for Pickering and the team so far in the race. We'll see how the rest of it plays out. We've got Mogul though still on Sternberg, so we'll keep an eye on that one. That is what Lexus chasing down Nissan GTR. 2 very quick top-end cars into the Variante Alta. There we go. 13th time of asking. Doesn't seem to be too unlucky for either of the drivers as they head down the hill once again. Let's see what Mogul can do on this lap. The Nissan, one of the few cars that is a bit of a foil for the Lexus top-end speed. We'll see what kind of exit he gets. Yeah, look at that. Nissan leaves him absolutely standing in the early acceleration phase. And is he even close enough to get some slipstream? Here he is. Oh, Butol with a spin. Butol with a yellow flag there. Let's see what's happened here. Oh, all on his own as well. Oh, he's just had a bit of a wiggle there on the mid-phase of the corner, just a little bit of oversteer that he had to correct there, and that has cost him a whole lot of time and momentum, and it's given him a bit of a battle, because that is now Nikolai Polyakov, who has arrived on the scene to clean this one up. So it's now Nissan versus Mustang, but the other way around. It's the Nissan that's doing the chasing, and I'm not sure how long this chase is going to last. Polyakov is an absolute surgeon behind the wheel, and there we go, out of the third chicane. He's already managed to get the car exactly where he wants it, so he's going to have the outside line here, yet cruises past there. Butol realising he was absolutely beaten, bang to the punch there, out with that chicane, and that's Polyakov with another position back. He has done phenomenally well since that opening lap incident to find himself back up into 5th position, and Butol strangely staying out with the slipstream there. I would be using both hands, feet, bungee ropes and everything to try and latch onto the back of that Nissan to try and keep up. I mean, not that I could drive those lines, but I would certainly be studying them as close as possible. We'll jump on board with Brems at the moment, but I have been joined in the comedy box by Mr. Andy from the Air Ambulance server. We'll see if he is available. Good afternoon, Andy. How are you?
Hi, John. I'm fantastic, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Now, I unfortunately wasn't given your surname as well, Andy. So, I'll tell you what. How about you give us a nice big introduction? Let us know who you are and what it is you do within the Air Ambulance service.
Of course, no worries. Thank you. My name's Andy Partridge. I am the community fundraiser for the county of Northamptonshire for the Air Ambulance service. As you mentioned a little bit earlier, the Air Ambulance service is made up of 2 primary services. First of all, we are one of the local helicopter emergency medical services that operate across the UK. There's about 21 other air ambulance charities, each with their own patch and region. Ours is Northamptonshire, Warwickshire, Derbyshire, Leicestershire and Rutland. And as you touched on earlier as well, we also run a national service, which makes us unique in the air ambulance community. We run the National Children's Air Ambulance, which is less of an emergency response as other HEM services are. And it's more of a transport service, so transporting poorly children, babies, children under the age of 16, from one medical site to another conventionally.
Yeah, actually something I did touch on earlier as well, just from my own personal point of view. My daughter has 9 congenital heart defects, and when she was first born, we had an air ambulance lined up to get her moved from Dundee to Edinburgh so that she could receive surgery instantly. Thankfully, when she was born, because of her size and the circulation, we managed to delay it to the next day. So yeah, I'm very acutely aware myself, and on a very personal level, as a parent of a child that was in need of your services, thank you wholeheartedly for what you guys and gals do up there in the air. It is not an easy job, and I don't imagine it's emotionally very easy as well, especially dealing with kids and stuff. But yeah, we're here to do some fundraising, Andy. It's all a bit of fun, and an event like this, a pay-to-win race, where our viewers and drivers can buy penalties or indeed pay to remove penalties. It is certainly a fun way to raise some money.
I mean, what a brilliant way to raise some money, right? It's exactly what I was talking to. I was talking to the gents at ACM Racing and Harry particularly. It's just a good way for everybody else to get out there and have a bit of fun on a Saturday. I mean, what a great way to spend your Saturday. And at the same time, like you said, to raise funds for such an important life-saving service at the same time. So what a double whammy. I can't wait for Crazy Hour. I'm really excited about that. I love this kind of initiative and this kind of great way of fundraising. And I'll tell you what, I was telling the gents at ACM Racing, it definitely beats standing in a muddy field at a summer fair like some of the other fundraisers I go to. So sat here in my office at my desk, watching this with a coffee on is, it's a bit of a dream, to be fair. So I'm really grateful for all the participants, for all the organisers, for ACM Racing, and to yourself as well, John, for being here. Just set out to be a fantastic day.
Indeed, yeah, an absolute pleasure to be here. I love doing these. I love doing these races, both for the fundraising aspect and just the sheer fun of watching teammates buy their own teammates' penalties and things. And it definitely does. Definitely does beat sitting in a bath of beans in a bikini. I mean, we're all up for a bit of a laugh and a giggle, but yeah, this is definitely
Slightly more comfortable, slightly more enjoyable, yeah.
Oh, I can confirm this office chair I have is definitely more comfortable than a bath full of beans. Amen to that, brother. Do you have any actual background at all yourself in sim racing, Andy? Is this relatively new to you? Is this just a fundraiser that, I mean, it's obviously a lot of fun. Do you have any sim racing history yourself or any love of motorsports yourself?
Big lover of motorsports. This is my first sim race, if I'm being entirely honest with you. I've
Wow.
obviously caught parts of sim racing community and culture as it's gone on. Mostly Max Verstappen storming off 24 hours of Le Mans and bits like that with some of the bigger names. But this is the first bit of actual sim racing. Massive motorsport fan, however. Hugely into F1 since I was a little boy, thanks to my old man. And go to Goodwood as many years as I can afford it.
Nice. Yep, love that. I haven't been myself, but I'd love to go. What is Goodwood like?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's a lot going on. I feel like it does, some people just say it gets away from the racing a little bit more. I haven't been to the Revival, which is actually on the circuit, where you get, your actual conventional lapped races. But the time trials up the hill, absolutely class. Getting to see some of the weird and wonderful bits that come out to and smash all the records, as well as all the old vintage F1 cars and old vintage. Well, I mean, there's the Fiat there that they had. I mean, somebody who knows a bit more about it, which was from like 1920, I could have sworn, was made with an old Zeppelin engine, I think. So getting to see all these weird and wonderful parts at such a cool setting, yeah, it's brilliant. A bit pricey, but a good day out. The opportunity.
Well, that is the benefit of sim racing. I mean, I say that it is a black hole. I started off on a Logitech wheel, and I've now spent. Yeah, well, let's not. That's maybe a bit of a personal question. But yeah,
I was actually just going to ask something similar about that. I was wondering about the setups that these kind of drivers taking part today will have. I'll presume they'll all have their own home setups, proper sim racing setups. Am I right?
So, in 90% of the cases, you probably will be correct. There are some aliens, Black Gold Saw, a couple of other drivers that do race on joypads, and they are still the quickest drivers in the world. It is terrifying. I know a guy that drives on keyboard and mouse. He was actually, he actually would have used the air ambulance service in Germany. He was involved in a car crash on the Autobahn, and he was left pretty much paralysed from the neck down. So he now nods his head to change gear, uses a mouse to steer and accelerate, and a brake, his space bar is his brake pedal.
Amazing. I'd love to see that setup. That's incredible. I'd love that.
His name's Iceey. I'll find the link and I will send it to you. He's a streamer. He's absolutely incredible. But yeah, 90% of the cases, the drivers will have themselves a rig. GT Omega do them. They who do mine. There's a few others out there. Strapped to that rig will be a steering wheel. The steering wheel will be connected to some kind of base motor, which puts out direct drive, feedback, and then they'll have a set of pedals at their feet as well. A lot of the pedals will have load cell potentiometers in them, so they act exactly like an actual race car brake. And the feedback that you get from some of these steering wheels is beyond mind-blowing. There's been more than one occasion I've looked down at my rear end to make sure my rig hasn't actually slid out, because it feels like the back slid.
Feels like the whole thing's going. Oh, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, I mean, the amount of money that people must put into these kind of things, and I know how popular they are and how much they're growing as well as a whole sport, sim racing. So it's fantastic just to be a part of it today, to be honest.
It is, yeah. And remember, folks, if you're out there, it is a rite of passage to buy the Logitech G29 if you're thinking about getting into sim racing. Everyone must start with the £200 Logitech. It is, as I say, it's a rite of passage. We can maybe even get Andy involved. So what other events have you got on the go at the moment, Andy? Any other fundraising events around the country or in your local area you want to give a mention to, see if anyone local can get involved?
Of course, well, we've always got bits going on all up and down the country. You should always have a look at our website, the Air Ambulance Service, and you'll see, obviously, with the National Children's Air Ambulance, we have events going on all over, primarily in the north of England, because that's where our kind of stronghold is, but as well in the south. In the case of the Air Ambulance Service, as in the local HEM service, of the Air Ambulance Service, your local air ambulance, we'll be looking for events in Warwickshire, Northamptonshire, Derbyshire, Leicestershire and Rutland. But obviously for me, primarily, it's Northamptonshire that I'm in charge of. So we've got different things going on this year with Northamptonshire. We've got a new partnership with Lamport Hall, which is a fantastic, massive, stately home, who got us as their Charity of the Year partner. We also have a corporate partnership with David Wilson Homes, with Redrow Homes. They're doing their charity golf days. All fantastic opportunities, all great things that bring in money for a good cause. We're also at nearly every summer fair that I can get my hands on, and I've got a great team of volunteers underneath me And whether it's talking at a WI or a Rotary Club, or it's going to, like I said, stand at a muddy field on a summer fair or something like that, we're sending them left, right and centre. And we're really lucky to be really well supported in the home counties that we're established in, Northamptonshire, Warwickshire primarily. But it's a fantastic charity. I've heard from some of the paramedics and doctors who work on our crews that it's one of the preferred air ambulances that they would say that because they work for us. But I know one doctor herself who lives down in Falmouth, and then she comes all the way up to stay in an Airbnb for 2 weeks just for the opportunity to work with us for a little bit. For doctors for doctors who work in A&E departments and intensive care units, it's kind of a cool little getaway they get to do. If they can get themselves in with an air ambulance service, then they can justify going off from their job for 3 weeks to go and do what is the most frontline work. And a lot of the time we think of our HEM service, the Helicopter Emergency Medical Service, like the other 20 that are in the UK, as the kind of thing that's getting to you, picking you up and bringing you back to hospital. But what we're particularly pushing for, what we particularly notice now, is we're actually flying less and less patients back to hospital. What we're good at doing is able to get a doctor to you on scene of your incident, of your traumatic incident, whether it's a stabbing or a road traffic accident or farming incidents, equestrian incidents to do with horses. They're big call-outs for us as well. Obviously, motorcycle community, there's strong links there as well. And what we're able to do is get a doctor and critical care paramedic to you on the scene. And the difference there from a conventional road ambulance is the doctor is able to administer certain treatments, certain medications, certain procedures. For example, bad amputations on the sides of the road, and they're not the kind of things that conventional paramedics, although ridiculously well trained, and although you'd be so grateful to see one in your time in need, they're not the kind of thing that conventional road ambulance can do. And so when we basically bring the hospital to you, and 9 times out of 10 we find that once we've stabilized the individual on the roadside, whether it's in the city centre or in the field if they've had a horse incident, for instance, it's actually safer to transport them by road ambulance. And what our real ability is to bring a hospital to you, to get that immediate care to you straight away. In cases of cardiac incidents, we have certain adrenaline medications and other things that are able to stabilize certain people in those kind of incidents, which a conventional paramedic wouldn't be able to do. So that's our real USP, if you want. That's our real unique thing. But that's no different to any of the other 20 local air ambulance charities. So we've all heard of them. I'm sure you all would have known, if you're from the UK, your local one, whether it's Cornwall or Yorkshire. They're all slightly different, all independent charities. But yeah, our big thing is we like to get there as quick as we can. So we use an Augusta, a 109, a Westland helicopter, flies at 180 miles an hour. The wheels tuck away underneath, so it flies just like a jet plane does, as quick as it can to you. And then we're able to get anywhere within our 5 counties within 10 minutes. So that is really what we're about. Get to you as quick as we can, start administering treatment to you as quick as we can. If we can stabilise you and then conventional road ambulance can take you away, then we will. At the same time, I've seen at base where they've had to come back from Warwickshire as our primary major trauma centre in the Midlands, at least close to Warwickshire. And we have had to fly patients straight there, particularly with brain injuries and things like that, where it's a real matter of let's get them to hospital as fast as we can. Obviously, as a fundraiser, I don't have too much to do with the operations side. I do get to see the incredible work they do, and it is, it's breathtaking sometimes, honestly. The kind of things they come away from, you ask them how their day was, and they're describing doing a cesarean on a roadside or doing an amputation, and you struggle to get the milk in your bowl of cereal. It's quite interesting to actually chat to them about the work they do. But if you know anybody who works in the medical field, you'll know that that's not unique. They're all that kind of minded people. They just want to give. So we've got some fantastic people on our crews, and we're very, very lucky.
Yeah, people in the medical profession are absolutely a different breed. They really are a different breed. Like, yeah, just to touch on my own experience, after her first open heart operation just before she turned 3, my daughter had to spend 3.5 months in hospital, and that was a testing time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
A testing time, to say the least, especially at the age of 21. Fun times.
Yeah.
But the staff there,
horrible.
absolutely incredible, just beyond incredible. Their emotional stability. I think it's safe to say, to be faced with some of the issues that we were faced with and seeing going on around us at the same time as well. And again, I did see patients when I was at the Simpson Memorial in Edinburgh. Yeah, Simpson Memorial. Patients being flown in, premature babies and stuff. So yeah, to hear the type of work that you do, not only taking people to hospital, but even better than that, actually taking effectively a hospital out to patients and getting them treatment instantly on the side of the road or in a field or wherever they may be, it really does magnify the life-saving capabilities and just how important something like the air ambulance service is, Andy.
Thank you very much for that, and we really appreciate it. I mean, and the people in operations, in the crew, really do understand the impact of the work they do, because they can see it. They can see the proofs in the pudding. They've worked inside hospitals and they've seen people come in 10 minutes later than otherwise they would have come in off the back of an air ambulance, or somebody who's had to wait half an hour for a treatment that otherwise we would have been able to administer on a roadside. And it does really, they really see the difference that it makes. It's really interesting hearing your personal story as well, because that is exactly what the National Children's Air Ambulance is set up to do, to transport sick and poorly children from one medical site to another where there's specialist paediatric care. Of course, in your circumstance as well, with a child so vulnerable and so physically unwell, transporting them by road ambulance isn't necessarily the safest option. It isn't necessarily the quickest option, not necessarily the most hygienic option either. One of the pilots from the Children's Air Ambulance remarked to me one time, there's no speed bumps in the sky, so we don't have to worry about. And when you're driving with a sick child in the back of the road ambulance, they do have to slow right down to do bits like that. So it's a really interesting thing that we're able to offer. It's really down to, I mean, there's charity shops for the National Children's Air Ambulance all over the country, and they do a great job funding the charity. But it really was down to initially the great support we've had in these 5 local counties that we were able to offer out a national service. Something that was kind of a gap, exactly like you were talking that your child nearly had the use of, which is flying a child from, even though they're in one hospital, there's not necessarily the correct people, the correct equipment, the correct procedures available there. And we're able to pick them and fly them to another hospital. If you've got time, I'll give you a case study.
Yeah, Andy, I am more than fascinated by everything that you're saying, so please do anything that you want to impart to us. You fill, as we say up here in Scotland, fill your boots, big man.
Fill your boots, you're very kind, John. I'm just very aware that some people might be wanting to know what's going on in the racing, bless them. I see them talking about the penalty points and how many it takes you to get kicked out.
Yeah, we will go back. There has been a lot of overtakes. We have managed to catch a few of them on screen, and we do have a clever little replay function that we'll throw up as well. And we've got about 20 minutes until the first round of pit stops start. That is when it's going to get spicy. So
it's going to get messy.
It really is. It really is, especially with all these paid penalties that we've had so far. Because I can confirm, we've just had another donation of £30. Someone has added 10 seconds to 5 cars that are their direct competitors to win the race. So they've just gone full scorched earth policy, early doors, you get a penalty, you get a penalty, you get a penalty, you get a penalty, and no doubt they're about to receive 5 penalties themselves from the said cars. So
I was going to say that, is that how these things normally go? Is it a bit reciprocal that once you lash out one way, it comes back and bites you? Yeah,
I saw a race. The top team, and it was a bunch of esports drivers, basically ringers. They were absolutely phenomenal. There was 5-6 other teams all bought them a drive-through penalties that added weight to the car and bought them time penalties. They paid to clear everything and then bought the whole lot again for everybody that had bought one for them. So the charity made out like an absolute bandit, and I got one of the most entertaining nights of racing I've ever seen in my life. The chat, yeah, these events, there's tears in my eyes from smiling. They're just so great. They're the greatest fundraising I think you can possibly do, Andy. Everyone gets involved. The charity makes out like an absolute bandit. And as I say, I even saw a teammate in Holland, 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning of a 24-hour race. Right, that's me done my 4 stints. My lifelong best friend is about to take over the car, so I've bought him a stop-go 30-second penalty and added 40 kilograms of weight to his car. Good night.
Nothing like team camaraderie.
Oh, it was absolutely outstanding. Needless to say, he was hailed with heroism when he came back into the chat the next morning. He was the star of the show. But yeah, no, give us a case study, Andy, please.
Yeah, go on. So the Children's Air Ambulance, the one I always like to tell the story of with the National Children's Air Ambulance was a young lad called Blaze who'd inhaled a toy at a nursery at the age of 2 on the Isle of Wight. They'd rushed him off to hospital with a collapsed lung. And in the Isle of Wight, they didn't have the specialised paediatric treatment that it would have took to cure him, to save his life. Bless him. The only way off the Isle of Wight, of course, as we all know, is that lovable hoverboat or ferry. Either way, you're looking at about a 2-3 hour journey. And again, talking about speed bumps, well, the sea's even more forgiving than the road. So it's not exactly the smoothest, easiest journey, particularly if you want to go at a slow pace to protect a vulnerable person, like a poorly child in this case. We were able to rely on our 11 NHS paediatric retrieval teams that we have scattered all across the UK. So we set off from our south base, which is just south of... It's in the Oxford London airport. Well, it's called Oxford London. It's in the Oxford airport. We were able to take off from there, pick up a specialist team of paediatric nurses and doctors from Southampton, fly to the Isle of Wight, pick up Blaze, where treatment starts immediately because the Children's Air Ambulance is equipped almost like a flying hospital ward. It's far bigger than our EMS helicopter, the Helicopter Emergency Medical Service helicopter, the kind of thing that would come to you in a case of a trauma or a road traffic accident. That's quite small and nimble because speed's the aim of the game, whereas the Children's Air Ambulance is slightly bigger. You can almost walk around it with a patient in the middle. We were able to pick up Blaze, start treatment immediately inside our specialised helicopter, and a boat journey that would have been 2 to 3 hours was a 15-minute helicopter journey. And we were able to get Blaze straight to the paediatric centre in Southampton, where he was immediately treated. And I think there was a story about his dad, bless him, who said that we are very happy to say that we allow space for one parent or one guardian on the flight, which is obviously a massive comfort to not only the child or the young person, but obviously the guardian themselves, because it's, as you've experienced, one of the worst experiences of your life, having your child unwell. There's nothing more horrible than that. But obviously only one seat on the helicopter, I'm afraid, so Dad had to get on the ferry and boat journey over. But on that boat journey, he was able to remark and think, how would Blaze have been on this boat journey? How would he have survived? Every bump and every minute that ticked by, he realised would have been a minute further away from the incident and further into illness. So that was a fantastic story that we like to tell people, and they are that are quite unique. There's some remote places in the UK where if a child is to get unwell, they're in a hospital, but it's not necessarily the right hospital for them. Obviously, we've got Great Ormond Street and and Birmingham Children's Hospital, some fantastic children's hospitals in the country who are really pushing paediatric care in directions that are indescribable. They're fantastic, and to be able to get a child from whether it's in Edinburgh or on the Isle of Man, on the Isle of Wight, some remote parts of the UK, quick and safely to the specialist care that they need is literally life-saving. So it's only a service that we've been running for about just over 10 years. I think 2010 was our first flight. It's slightly under the radar. It's not really known about the National Children's Air Ambulance, because when we think air ambulance, you think somebody coming to a mountainside or a road traffic accident. The fact that this is a specialised transport service does make it unique. But we love going around and talking about it. And as it's a national service that we offer, it means that we can fundraise for it all across the country, as there are certain codes to fundraising that limit us to regions and places we only provide a service. But the National Children's Air Ambulance, we provide a service across the whole country. So yeah, a really interesting bit that we get to talk about. What's known more, of course, we all associate our emergency service, responding to 999 calls and flying a helicopter in. This is something that's a bit more planned. They'll know what they're doing by the start of the day. It's not necessarily responding to emergencies. They will still be classified as an emergency because it's only about 24 hours notice we get on flights. Yeah, it's a fantastic thing, and we wouldn't be able to do it without the help of the 11 NHS paediatric retrieval teams that we have across the UK. So it's also down to them. What we're primarily doing is just we're driving the bus, and they're doing the great life-saving work themselves. So yeah, a fantastic thing that we're able to offer, and we're really privileged as it is unique in service across the whole country.
Yeah, it massively is. It's a very high-tech bus to be driving, and I will be hunting it down on Flight Sim later on to play
have a look for it. Have a look for it. So it's the green one. The green one's what you're looking for the Children's Air Ambulance. Not quite the Augusta 109, the fastest commercial helicopter you can buy, which is the one that we use for our HEMS service. Slightly bigger, slightly bulkier. and slightly slower. So if you want to get something, you want to see how fast they can fly around, it's the Augusta 109 you want to be trying out on any flight sims. That's what's whizzing up. And if you are, I mean, I don't know if anybody's local to the Midlands or the Western East Midlands, Northamptonshire, Warwickshire, but where I live in Rugby, if you look at the skies throughout the next 12 hours, you will see it come past. It averages 5 to 10 missions a day, and each of those missions costs £2,300 on average. So you're looking at a cost of up to 23 grand just to run our operations, and that's just for the HEM service. That's not including the children's. The children's average about 2 missions a day, and they cost around £5,500 per flight. So we're talking big costs, and obviously we're talking about jet fuel, which is probably, or the sim racers are probably laughing because it's not so much their concern when in their sport, which is fantastic for them. But obviously fuel at the moment is a big issue, and medical supplies as well, also on the rise. So we're always facing challenges left, right and centre to provide our service, but we're just really grateful for the support of fundraisers like this one and support from our local community as well and across the country for the National Children's Air Ambulance. It means that we get to keep on providing the service we're providing, of course, at no cost to the government, no cost to the NHS, no cost to the patients themselves. And we pride ourselves on not taking any money from the government. My manager's got a nice sort of tagline where he says we're here to support the NHS, not to take money off it, which I do like. I do stand by. So it's a point of pride that we don't take any money from the government. It's all publicly funded, and we're able. I mean, there's people walking around the 5 counties we look after here, and children across the whole of the United Kingdom who owe their lives to fundraisers like this one. So it really is saving lives, genuinely.
Yeah, that is massively. And let's face it, Andy, would the government even fund it anyway? They do like to take money from NHS. Don't even get me started.
Argument? Yeah.
I have a unique, as I say, my daughter's had 5 open heart operations now to replace things, so I've got a very unique perspective on how woefully underfunded the NHS is. And to touch on the point you made, of course, about specialist services, specialist hospitals. I know, like the whole of Scotland, we all now go to either Glasgow or Edinburgh. So if you're up in Aberdeen, Aberdeen to Glasgow is not a short trip. There's not a direct motorway. Even Dundee to Glasgow, Dundee to Edinburgh, they're not simple road journeys. And of course, those magnify when you get down to England. Of course, as you mentioned, Birmingham. I know Leeds as well. They were a cardiology centre for quite some time, because if my daughter was born 4 years earlier, that's where her local hospital would be, rather than Clydebank where it is now. So we're Dundee to it's Clydebank now because she's a grown-up. So yeah, specialist centres are scattered out. There does need to be a marked improvement by the government and what we have. It's not until you're in these situations you realise just how specialist some centres are and how spread out they are, unfortunately. So
entirely.
Yeah, they need to get their finger out.
It was something that I didn't necessarily appreciate either before getting more involved with this charity and taking up this job as a community fundraiser, thinking that all hospitals are the same, aren't they? So they've got the machines and the same procedures and the same doctors, same specialists, don't they? And I think that was a bit of a naive outlook on my part, to be fair, because, as you say, it's actually quite surprising that if you need very unique, specific specialist care, that you might need to go all the way across the country, or even to another country, like I said, from Scotland all the way to Leeds. Yep. Across a border, which is crazy. So that is the need that made us create the National Children's Air Ambulance. And it is a fantastic service that we're very proud to be able to provide to all the people of the UK and get to make sure that poorly children and babies in those situations. I mean, there's incubators inside of the helicopter as well, specially designed, specially bespoke incubators that we commissioned. You're talking tens towards hundreds of thousands of pounds for each one of those, because it has to be small enough to fit inside our helicopter with certain specifications. And these are the fantastic things we're able to offer thanks to good fundraisers like this. And we really are pushing forward paediatric care particularly, but also traumatic and emergency response care as well with our HEM service. Always learning new techniques, always growing, always developing. Again, something that I maybe didn't appreciate so much about the medical field is the fact that these things are constantly changing and constantly growing, and there's always new things to learn and new opinions changing. And then to see the fact that fundraisers like this are able to fund the new equipment that we're able to offer, the new training procedures. I'll give you another quite morbid example, if you'll forgive me, but with our HEM service, the one that works over the 5 counties responding to emergencies, we're getting more and more stabbings, unfortunately, we're responding to. Within our patches, the city of Leicestershire, city of Derby, Coventry isn't technically inside our patch, but we do quite a lot of jobs out there, as well as Birmingham and Northampton, of course. And seeing more and more stabbings in these cities, or at least we're responding to more and more stabbings in these cities, which is fantastic that at least we're getting to people and trying to administer rapid care as quick as we can. To practice some of the procedures that you need to practice on after stabbings, you would have to work on cadavers, which, again, people in the medical field, they've got a certain amount of, they've got harder bellies than me, they've got a certain amount of grit to them. But we're able to now provide these new dolls, these new test dummies. They cost about £20,000 each, and they've got special made material to them that you can fix back up afterwards, so you can practice procedures, allowing our important doctors, nurses, and critical care paramedics a bit of a respite, if you will, to get to practice some of these important life-saving procedures, and also not have to do it on cadavers themselves. So it's amazing where all the money goes, and the kind of things that we dedicate, and how we're always pushing to always be better and always be growing. Yeah, again, all down to great fundraisers like this one.
Yeah, that is wild. That is wild. I have seen ballistic dummies before. I'm going to be straight onto Google and checking out these ones as well. I just want to make a quick announcement to the stream as well, folks. We did have a bit of an issue. Tiltify, unfortunately, their website was having some kind of technical issue in the background. I can confirm it's definitely been fixed. We've instantly had another 2 donations come in. Here we go, folks. Let's get it on. So Tiltify wasn't working. It is now. So feel free to pile on. The admins have had an easy last hour, so let's make them work. Let's get those fingers furiously typing as we add weight and time. We've got 5 kilograms of ballast for 21 Mustang, and car 777 is getting a 10-second penalty as well from Gwen. Thank you very much, Gwen. And Anonymous is adding another another 20 kilograms of ballast to car 343. That's Ryan Cheshire. Ryan, it's good to see him out racing. He's a quick driver. He's a quick driver, or at least he is when his car's not bogged down with 40 kilograms of weight. And someone out there has done that. And not only that, that is an extra £15 that has gone toward. I mean, we've just heard there, basic running costs. We're talking about 30 grand a day. That's just for the missions. Never mind everything else. And we're hearing the stories that Andy's telling us. This little kid on the Isle of Wight, I mean, that does not end well without an air ambulance, is what I'm going to say. And as having a collapsed lung myself, I can confirm every speed bump on the way. I mean, who puts speed bumps on the way into the hospital? I can assure you, those speed bumps were absolute agony when I had a collapsed lung, so I can confirm that, yeah, the air ambulance definitely would have been preferable for my little 3-mile jaunt up to the hospital. But yeah, incredible work that these guys and gals are doing. We've got Concerned Racer, there we go, they're filing, and now we've got £15 coming in to remove 20 kilograms of ballast for car 456. So there we go, we'll expect them to go quickly in and out of the pits. That's the donations jumped up, that's £195 that we are up to so far, and we're not even an hour into the 12-hour race for the Air Ambulance Service fundraiser here at ACM, so make sure you get involved in it. Again, anyone that's got any questions, thanks, or queries you want to throw Andy's way, I'm not sure how much longer we can hijack him for, but he is a fundraiser. He is used to having a microphone in his hand, so I'm sure he can come up with stuff to say, much like myself really. Let's face it, commentators and fundraisers, we just talk a lot about interesting things, and hope for the best. Cheesecake Guy is in the chat as well. Good evening, my favourite viewer, because let's face it, who doesn't love cheesecake? We've also got Gamer Extremes in as well. Gamer, are you not racing today? Are you racing today? I didn't see you on the list. Macronda's in as well, and Primer Iced Tea. I do prefer coffee, but yeah, we'll go for Primer Iced Tea, saying hello as well. So welcome in to everyone. Big thanks on behalf of ACM and of course the Air Ambulance Service. We've got Andy in with us at the moment. It's his first real experience of sim racing. I take it you're watching the stream in the background, Andy. How are you enjoying the action out on stream, out on track?
Yeah, fantastic. I was just going to join just at 12 o'clock before the massive shunt where about 7 cars came together, and then I thought I'd give you 5 minutes to try and sort whatever mess happened there out. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's brilliant, isn't it? To be fair, it's also one of my first experiences of one of these longer form races. I'm obviously familiar with like Le Mans and things like that, and particularly I know how popular they are in sims. But yeah, it's a bit new to me in that respect as well. Maybe you could fill me in a tiny bit, John. Do the drivers, is it teams and they're swapping drivers throughout the day?
Correct. Although I can confirm there are people out there who are alien. I believe most of them have got USB pits, sockets in their armpits. I have seen people do 24-hour races solo, and in fact I saw a
I could
driver
believe it.
do. His dog had just passed away, so in memory of his dog, he did it solo with his dog's picture on the side of his car. And in the top split on the planet, he finished third around the Nordschleife in Germany, which, as you know, a bit of a tricky
Yeah.
racetrack.
Entirely,
did it.
yeah, not a fun racetrack.
Single-handedly finished third.
Crazy. That
Yeah,
must have
but
been
yeah,
emotional for him, bless him.
yes, indeed. What a young lad as well. I think he's just signed with Ferrari, actually. Luke Whitehead. Very quick driver. Very quick driver. Today we've got
Crazy.
teams of, the majority seem to be three driver teams. We've got a few pairings, and we've got one team with 5 drivers. They've got a driver called Dr. Bones. I absolutely cannot wait to get him out on track. So yeah, that's what happens. The drivers themselves, and in fact, with today's technology, there are actually websites which offer the facility, because this game is also known as a tyre pressure simulator. Your tyres need to be in the window or you are in trouble, I can assure you. Especially when the track temperature is at 35 degrees, you're going to be getting blistering. So your teammates can actually open your pit box, your pit window, and say we want it to change tyres, add this much fuel, repair this and swap to this driver. So the car pulls into the pits, the driver stops the engine and that instantly hands it over to the new driver, and they're the ones that drive out of the pits. The drivers can stay out for 65 minutes at a time before they have to come into the pits. They can then go back out and do another 65, or they can hand over. But that is the IRL time limit that is on drivers. So that is exactly the same as real GT3, GT4, any kind of racing really. It's a 65-minute stint time, and occasionally they'll push it to 75, 80, but then it does give certain cars a huge advantage because of petrol tanks and tyre wear. So 65 minutes is kind of where it's at. Yeah, the Bentley used to be the absolute go-to car for endurance racing because of the petrol tank.
Yeah, entirely. And do they have to swap drivers every time they pit, or is it just a matter of preference?
Matter of preference. As I say, the only stipulation is you do 65 minutes and then come into the pits. If you had the tyres in the tank and the fuel for it, you could just drive through the pits. And in fact, towards the end of this race, that is what we'll see drivers do for their final stint, because the way it works over the 12 hours, that's 65 minutes. If you run as close to that, obviously you gain 5 minutes an hour. And if you do that over 10 pit stops, that's 50 minutes you could potentially gain. So your last... we'll see drivers come in to do a pit stop with about an hour and 20 minutes left of the race, which means they'll still have to get the 65-minute stint timer, but you can just about get an hour and 20 minutes out of a petrol tank and a set of tyres on these cars. So they will just do a drive-through for their final pit stop, and that's perfectly acceptable. As long as you come into the pits at 65 minutes, what you do in there is entirely up to yourself. And in fact, in longer races, they change the brakes as well. You have to change the brakes about 13, 14 hours in.
Of course, yeah. That's fantastic to know. So they don't necessarily have to change drivers after 65 minutes, just drive through the pits. So they could stay, of course, because you said, because some individuals are doing the whole drive themselves. So as long as they just drive through the pits every 65th minute, don't necessarily have to change tyres and refuel, but like you said, they're going to run out, aren't they? So they're going to need to eventually.
Yeah, they are going to need to, so you will see the drivers, these races as well, they will just plan to run 60 minutes at a time. It might cost them one extra trip into the pits compared to someone else going longer, but it just gives them more consistency in the feel of the car, the weight of the car with the fuel in it, how the tyres are wearing, and it gives them a better idea, because track temperature and weight of the car will massively affect the tyre pressure and affect the heat of the cars. And as I say, in this simulator, they are very sensitive to having the tyres within half a psi of where they need to be for optimum grip, and that changes over the lap. So they'll even have spent time running with artificial weight in the car so they understand how the tyres will react as the weight reduces at certain temperatures, so they know how to set the pressures when they come in for their next pit stop. Because obviously over 12 hours with realistic weather, you're going to see some changes to track
Speaking on that,
temperature, to wind
actually,
speed, things like that. Yeah.
that's a good point. I was going to say, are we expecting any rain today? What's the forecast looking like?
There is cloud cover, so if you do have your favourite rain dancing poncho and Wellington boots, we've all got them, Andy. Let's face it, now is the time to get dancing about, doing a few star jumps and praying. There is a bit of cloud cover. I'm just looking. There's nothing fully. Harry should be watching in the chat. Harry, can you put on your favourite weather girl outfit and let us know weather for today, please? But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, over the 12 hours, we will see rain fall from the sky. It keeps it that extra bit spicy. And it does make it interesting with the strategy as well, Andy, because you can do 2 stints on one set of wet tyres if the track's wet enough.
Of course.
So you could then see a bit more of the drive-through being used, running the car for 65, coming back in, out, and maybe even doing the extra 30 minutes you can get the petrol. So yeah, yeah, 2 things you don't want to be on ACC is designing the liveries, because that is an absolute logistical nightmare with the programs you use, or being a team manager or strategist. Plan to be mostly clear, overcast at most, but we are heading into the night later on in the race, says Harry. So yeah, fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Oh, we're up to £219 as well. Let me see who's been throwing their hard-earned cash our way. It's Anonymous with a £20 donation. 20 kilograms for car 863 and £4 for a 5-second time penalty for car 777. Oh, and we're now in the pit window, Andy. So I don't know what you want to do at this stage.
Fantastic.
Do you want to hang about for a bit, yeah? And we'll talk through all this?
I'll hang about,
yeah.
But I'll let you do most of the talking. Believe me, I don't want to get in the way of anybody's viewership.
Sound. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. We could hire you as a co-commentator. I like your style. We're back out on track. That is Andy, of course. And again, folks, any questions that you've got, give us a shout. Any thanks, I know from my own personal experience, and absolutely invaluable service that they offer. So get your hand in your pocket, get any questions in the chat, and we'll run through the race. We've seen a few overtakes so far. The battle between Rosenbaum and Cassandra Pickering has been separated by the approaching pit stop window. One of them's come in, one of them hasn't. Our race leader has boldly stayed out. He's got 1 minute and 4 seconds to get himself into the pit, so absolutely looking to maximise his opening stint, which he's done so far with a 1 minute 42.015, the fastest lap that he has clocked. Can confirm though the award for most consistent lap, and no, I'm not a massive fanboy, you are, that's what the problem is. It's Nikolai Polyakov, unsurprisingly, found himself tumbling down the order, and at one point was down in 11th place after taking the lead on the way into turn number 2. There was a bit of contact. He thankfully kept it out of the wall. He's got back up to 3rd position as Morris Jones comes down the last corner, and that is how you maximise a stint, folks. 24 seconds left on his stint and crosses the line. You have no idea how much of a difference that can make to a long race, and if you do, you really do. Polyakov is exiting the pits. He came in a 1 lap down. Maddie Grace, we'll see if Polyakov is still behind the wheel. We'll back up. In fact, the second place, my apologies, he was only 3rd because of the running order in the pits. He is actually back up to 2nd. Maddie Garcia on their way back out in the BMW, and it looks like Buomar Mustafa is behind the wheel of the BMW for car 151. Edin Gazoop, everyone in the pits. Mogul is in as well. Daniel Cataldo, who came in a lap earlier, getting the undercut done and gaining another cheeky spot there. Very nice for car 155. All the time penalties cleared, of course. Polyakov in 2nd, heading up the hill as Morris Jones is stationary in the pit stops, and that is now everyone been in at least once. Oliver Anderson is in and stationary. Sinok Fane, just on the way out. Another driver from down under. good to see. That is another great thing about these endurance races. Of course, it is the time zones. There is nothing better than doing one of these endurance races and having teammates in the opposite hemisphere. It really does make logistics so much easier and does save driving at 3 in the morning, particularly for anyone. Tombola Morris Jones leaves the pits. We'll see if it's Tom that's taken over, but they've come back out in the lead. Polyakov has been gifted the 5-second penalty. That is car 777. I think that's maybe cursed the commentator in a whole new way. I've been waxing lyrical about their talents, and people are jumping on the bandwagon and they're getting hammered with penalties. They served 10 seconds in that first pit stop, and that's another 5 seconds has already generously been added. I'm trying to get a look at the gap here. Right, we're at 18 seconds in tumbling. No. Right, so there is a 30-second gap. There's a 30-second gap between the top two. Let me lock that in to my telemetry, so we've got an idea of that going forward. It is Morris Jones. It is still Tombola behind the wheel. If Tom or Tombola are in the chat, give us a shout. I'm very familiar with Tom, but his teammate for today is a new one on me. Let's see, Mali Garcia back out in third for the 4.55. It's Daniel Cataldo in the 1.55 in fourth. We've got Mustafa behind the car of the 1.51 in fifth position. Then it's Hamza Badir, the number 13 Ferrari. Forza Ferrari, come on, top 10, let's go. I'm not biased, you are. We've got Ansgar Mogul back out behind the wheel of the Lexus for VIN. They've had a phenomenal race so far. And much like Badir ahead of them, I've gained 17 places. And in fact, Badir has just got the overtake done. Mustafa's had a bit of an issue, question, replay. Let's have a look and see. So Mustafa was running pretty comfortably there in 6th position. Hamza Badir has just now taken his 18th position. Oh, into the second chicane. This one does feel... Oh, and there we go. Dabs on the brakes, and in fact what I'll do, I'm not sure if Andy's got the technology for this, but they could make it a bit easier for him if I screen share. Yeah, Andy, whatever device you're on, you should be able to watch a live feed of the race as well, if you can do so. We'll continue on with this though. So that is Hamza Badir, not happy with sharing the highest number of overtakes in the race, gone up to 5th position. Selfish? Well, give them a penalty, add some weight to the car, give them another 30 seconds to spend in the pits. It's all to a good cause. So Mogul then, 17 positions up to 7th place. Thomas van der Struis is now out for the 369. The Boatley with a rocket of a race, 12 positions up to 8th place. I did mention when I was speaking to Andy just how good the Bentley was back in the day. It was so meta, it was the actual definition in the dictionary. Of course it was the McLaren for a while, but the petrol tank on this thing is the stuff of lore and legend. Luca Corazzo is out behind the wheel of car 28, another Ferrari in the top 10. Today was a good day. We've got Alleman out in the car 22, the McLaren. Sorry, apologies folks, the team names haven't come through for me properly, and it is a lot of drivers to try and attach still a lot of teams over the race, especially with a lot of new entrants. We've got Edward Dan back out, the Aussie driver in the Lexus on his second stint. Then Janet Lecage out for GBR in the BMW. We've got Kostenko and Tim Botcher out 13th, 14th, and Brandon Ash out in the now repaired Mustang, rounding out the top 15. Grazda in 16th, with Fane out in 17th. Fane, of course, taking an early turn behind the wheel. I think they're going to be one to watch over the race, folks. Given their early pit stop, I think in the last stint they are going to make up several places. So we'll see if I've just cursed the commentator or looked like a savant. Who knows? Sakamane is out for the 161 Ferrari. Sternberg after the pits, 19th position. Have dropped pretty consistently over the race, but they do have some pace behind the wheel of that thing, so do not be surprised if they make an appearance in the top 10 in the closing stages. Chilcott Atalanta, my apologies, fell over that one there. The 243 out in 20th position. Brock got a couple of penalties from the stewards, And he finds him. Oh, and that's a big lunge on the blue flag there. That is a bold move by Baroque. That could incur the wrath of the stewards. We shall see. Freddie Wally out in 22nd. Claudio Andre in 23rd with Nicky Soar in the pits in 24th. So I think Mondo Mando is going to retake that position in the number 1 car, but certainly the gap up at the top is the one that we're going to be keeping a very weather eye on, and it is sitting at 30 seconds. Although Morris Jones at the minute has definitely got Polyakov for pace. The fastest lap between the two of them is considerable, 0.8 of a second. Although Polyakov would have been carrying some damage in that first stint, so we'll see what he can do on a fresh set of tyres. We've just had confirmation, no chance of rain today. Typical forecast. Yeah, so we do actually have a graph as well. We do have a graph as well, Andy, that shows... I'll tell you what, I'm going to send this to you so you can have a quick look and see yourself.
You can test my Discord skills, which are not
Yeah, I still do need pointers. It's a good thing I've got some lifelong friends on here. Because some of this technology is... but that's a link I've just sent you there. And you can see that is the forecasted weather and the expected highs and lows. Ooh, and we've got a spin, and it is car 68. That's Kostenko. Oh, carrying a bit of damage on that Porsche anyway. Oh, and just crawling. The back of that car is not fit for purpose. Oh, yeah, there we go. Just completely lets go. Spins around, and that is car 68, I think. Okay, yep, there was a previous... Okay, so they're at full speed here. That is a McLaren sneaking up behind them. This is across the start-finish line. We're going to see a quick flick to the left. Oh, no, we're not going to see a... Yeah, well, there we go. A quick flick to the left, right, bang. Oh, wow. You got actual hang time there. That is going to be a big penalty for someone. I know I'm not a steward, but... making contact on a straight, massively frowned upon. Oh, and Buamar Mustafa finds himself off in the gravel. It's all kicking off now. Let's see, 151, first registered incident. So let's see what's happened here. That is Mogul for VIN that is behind. Looks for a little move up the inside into the second chicane. This has been quite the battleground for the drivers. It's really not a place you can afford to lose it. It is so... subtle, the camber change on the way in there, and that is what can happen to the back of the car as soon as it doesn't have the grip it's expecting, and it definitely didn't expect to have as a little grip there. Lots of penalties coming in. Thank you very much to everyone donating. We've got 10 seconds for Morris Jones. Nikolai Polyakov has just been upgraded to oh, and there's a big incident there. Big stunt, and the race leader is coming up to it now. Let's have a look and see. 161. Now, right, okay, Sakamarfi, I think he has just come up upon what was already happening. Yep, so he is driving up to the second chicane. We'll have a look for it. Oh, yeah, it's already kicked off there. That is the black BMW. Let's see, car 369. Oh, not Van der Struyen. Who was... Oh, it was Badir. No, it wasn't Badir. I can't... Oh, so it started there. Wow, so it was Kostenko. He got clipped on the way in, ends up completely all over the place, and the Bentley reverses back into track. That is not good either. There is Kostenko coming into the pit. So the fresh tyres and a couple of new faces out on track. And a few incidents brewing there as Lecage is now under pressure from Edward Dan, the Aussie driver, out in the Lexus, looking to send it into turn number 2. He's got the drop here, he's got the position, he's gone too deep though. He's not got enough pressure on the brake pedal there, and that is a spin. He very nearly had that overtake done there, but that's now Edward Dan. Wasn't quite a full Austin Powers 42-point turn to get him going in the right direction, but that's going to be another position lost there. As Tim Botch... Oh no, sorry, that's a blue flag coming through. Tim Botch is a fair bit behind. Yeah, there we go, Andy. We do still have Andy in the comedy box joining us live from his fundraising centre in his office. His first real experience of sim racing. He does a lot of phenomenal fundraising work, literally life-saving fundraising work, and much needed as well. Bringing the air ambulance service to parts of the country and nationally as well, for children and adults that really do need the services they provide. He's joined us today and he has been generously sharing a lot of information and stories about what's going on. And yeah, it sounds like he's, as a motorsport fan, I think we're turning up. I think he might now be a regular viewer on Twitch and YouTube watching the sim racing, because it's so much more exciting, Andy. It really is. Some good stuff out on track.
It is brilliant. I'm really loving this. No, it's fantastic. It's great to watch all these races go around as well, and get to watch all these little incidents and I love the ambition of some of the drivers and the gaps we're going for. They're not leaving it. They're leaving it all out there, honestly. So yeah, it's fantastic. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the choice of cars, and is that just down to team preference?
Yes, so very much driver preference. There are cars that are so the balance of performance. So GT3, GT4 racing and all racing, when they first turn up at a track in real life, the drivers spend up to 2 days lapping, and then the organisers say, right, this car's too quick, this car's a bit slow. So they'll add weight to the cars or remove weight. There's a 40 kilograms that comes with every race car, certainly in this category. So they can either remove or add weight to the cars to try and balance out the lap times to make the racing as even as possible. And that is the function that we use to add and remove cars. I've actually over-explained that there and forgotten your question.
No, it's okay. I was just wondering about the actual choice of cars themselves.
Oh,
and if
sorry,
they actually
yes.
choose the cars themselves, or if it's kind of linked to the team more, or where that kind of comes in.
Yeah, so different cars, where I was going with that, different cars will perform differently at different tracks. So sometimes you will have drivers that are talented enough to change car depending on the track. The vast majority of drivers will find one car that they'll settle in. Every now and again there'll be changes to the tyres or changes to the balance of performance that'll change that, but you'll often find that drivers will stick to the one car, and then when they come together as a team, it'll be a combination of who can drive what and what's best suited to the track. Like the Ferrari is a not bad all-rounder, but it's going to struggle to win around here against things like the Mustang. So clearly Carrozzo in the team there in 6th position. They are wringing the neck out with this thing to keep it up in 6th at the moment. I love the Ferrari. It's a good all-rounder, but it doesn't overly excel at any particular part of the track. So you're going to get a good consistent race, but you're not going to be the quickest, and you're going to be relying on, say, other people's mistakes to get those race wins here. But yeah, it's definitely a combination of things. Whatever drivers can drive and what setups they've got. There's a huge market and industry for the setups in these cars, because I think there's like 7 or 8 pages. Yeah, it's the same as tuning a real car. You can change every single aspect within the car, right, practically down to compression ratios, and it all hooks up to Motec, the real life engineer system that mechanics use to tune cars and race cars. It's still hooked up to this as well. So they'll find the setup, or one of them will have a good lap in the car, and then they'll try and convince their friends. There's often a lot of bartering goes on between friends as to what car. And I also do know there's some drivers, they'll let their Twitch community, so there'll be 2 or 3 drivers, they're all friends, we're doing an endurance race together, right, so we'll put up a vote, what car do you want to see us drive?
They'll put it out there.
That can backfire hugely, I can assure you.
No, I can imagine. I'm really surprised that the Ferrari wouldn't be the favourite, considering we're at an Italian track.
Whoa, and that is clumsy by Lecage just as we're coming into Ravazza. That is Olliman, that's 2 BMWs. Oh, and that is actually a blue flag that's got involved there as well. Sorry, Andy, jumped all over you there, but Lecage, yeah, right up into the back of a concertina car through Ravazza. And that is a bit untidy there. That's unfortunate. Yes, so the Ferrari, I would love for the Ferrari to be the best at every Italian track, but as I say, at the moment, it is. The 296 is very much it's a good all-rounder. And in fact, tell you what, we've got viewers in the chat and drivers in the chat. Give us your opinions on the cars. I just love the sound of the Merc. To be fair, the Mercedes does sound like nothing on earth. And we don't use chase cam often, but the sound that comes out the Merc is absolute. Oh, it's just undeniable. absolutely undeniable. The Aston Martin sounds quite good as well, the V8 and the V12. What do we have? He said couldn't see the other car. Oh, okay, someone had a connection issue and couldn't actually see the other cars on track. So that's why they've made contact. Tom Morris Jones is Ryan Cheshire in disguise. Sorry, yeah, okay, so there we go. Ryan Cheshire is in disguise. So he is Tom Morris Jones. So that is Ryan Cheshire that's behind the wheel. So he's being sneaky, right? We won't tell anyone it's Ryan. Everyone, put penalties on Ryan. Completely unbiased commentary, of course, brought to you once again. Absolutely nothing to do with it. Aston
got it all coming in the chat now.
Yep, there we go. We've got all the... Car 68 has got a high downforce setup, so it's quicker in the fast corners, but much slower on the straights. So there we go, all down to setup as well. Of course, you can change the wing on these things to completely flat or completely raised. So again, the high downforce, better cornering, but slower on the straight. So cars trying to take advantage. So yeah, the car choices, they are wide and varied. And yeah, it's a massive number of factors. Oh, it's Polyakov with another blue flag there. Sales pass, he's just served his drive-through actually, so quick update on there. Nikolai Polyakov, after being gifted a drive-through. Now, in fact, that might have been, let me just check my live stewarding. No. He's not been a naughty boy. Ryan Cheshire he got a 10-second penalty, and in fact Grazda has just been given a 10-second penalty as well for an incident on lap 27, which is quite a while ago. So there hasn't been an incident for about 20 laps or so, apart from that two we've just seen there. There's Sternberg flashed his lights to get past the blue flag. Harry agreeing with the Aston Martin. Remember folks, it's pinned in the chat, the Tiltify link. Get yourselves on there. Penalties will be applied, and of course, in a few hours' time, we're going to... Wow, it's already are we really an hour and a half in? That's crazy. 6 hours into the race, we will have crazy hour. Penalties will get applied straight away. It's just going to be absolute madness. So make sure you tune in for that. Like Ash Loki, a terrorist. Oh, I do love it when people's friends jump in the chat and throw them under the bus. I've done that a few times myself. I completely, wholeheartedly agree with your approach to jumping in there. 11U, I think, or just you, first in chat. But welcome into ACM. Of course, we're here for the fundraiser for the air ambulance service. And Andy, yeah, give us a quick reminder of other events that you've got going on in your local area.
Of course, yeah, in Northamptonshire we've always got bits going on. Any summer fairs, whether they're big or small, we've got some bigger partnerships going on with some charity golf days with David Wilson Homes. If you're familiar with Northamptonshire, there's another big stately home called Chester House, where I've got a quiz that I'm hosting in a couple of weeks. All information about that can be found at Busy Networking, as we're doing it in conjunction with them. So have a little look at Busy Networking Northamptonshire if you're interested. Come along to a quiz. Although tickets are already selling like hotcakes. There's so many different departments as well to the air ambulance service, all of which you all do different things as well. So I'm more on the community side, so I do some of the lower end corporate stuff. I mean, lower end, we're talking less than 6 figures, so it's not low end. But the more senior corporate partnerships that bring in more than that is down to the business team. At the same time as well, you can go on our website, theairambulanceservice.org.uk, and have a look at all the challenge events, which I would definitely encourage you to sign up to. See some of the bits that we're participating in. For things like marathons, Great North Run, parts like that, we have to buy spaces. So we've got some spaces bought up. So if that was something that you'd be interested in doing, as well as the Three Peaks Challenge. Anybody from Yorkshire, of course, will know the Three Peaks, and Penny Ghent and the other two. But fantastic opportunity as well to have a good time outdoors, walking up and down a mountainside and raise some money for a good cause. We've got, if you're local to the Midlands as well, Rugby Half Marathon is always our big sponsored event that we are based, the head offices. All the air ambulance service are based in Rugby for these 5 counties. we always show up for that. So keep your eyes peeled. Have a look on our website as well for some of the challenge events and see if there's anything that takes your fancy. At the same time, if you'd also like to organise any fundraisers of your own, whether it's nationally to support the National Children's Air Ambulance, or perhaps you're local to one of the 5 counties, Northamptonshire, Warwickshire, Derbyshire, Leicestershire or Rutland, then let us know. Get in touch. My name's Andrew Partridge. You can find me at andrew.partridge@theairambulanceservice.org.uk for email. Would happily put you in touch. If it's not my team, happily put you in touch with the relevant teams. Fundraisers like this are absolutely fantastic. I've been speaking to Harry and the team at ACM Racing particularly about how this is a great way to raise money. Not only is it good fun for all of you guys, but any other kind of fundraiser involves a certain amount of logistics. Of course, this still involves logistics, but physical logistics, getting people to places, setting up marquees, paying for petrol. Of course, that's becoming more and more of an expense nowadays. A fundraiser like this, apart from the great deal of effort that all the team at ACM Racing and Harry have put into it, apart from that, it costs very little. And it's a fantastic win for us to be able to have a fundraiser like this in aid of our charity. So if you're thinking about doing a video game fundraiser yourself or something similar like that, we'd be very interested in talking to you, and we'd maybe have to ask Harry for some of the pointers, because he is the expert with setting up some bits like this. Just a quick nod to him as well, and the team at ACM Racing, for the great charity work that they do across the board. I know that they've supported a number of charities in the past, both in the US and here, and have raised thousands and thousands of pounds for great causes, all while having a good time. And that's really hats off to them. This is all thanks to them. I'm just here just to say thank you, and to really give the credit where it's owed to Harry and the team at ACM Racing. And I hope you guys are all having fun at home watching as well.
Indeed, yeah, and yeah, I will second that thought. Absolutely, huge pat on the back to Harry and the team. The work that Harry does behind the scenes is pretty crazy, and I've done a couple of the charity broadcasts now, and one, strangely, yeah, it still sticks with me. It was for service dogs for returning veterans in the US military, and I got to interview a couple of them, and I'm not going to lie, it caught me off guard. It was, yes, some of the experiences that these people have gone through, absolutely mind-blowing. You're talking multiple tours to places like Iraq, Afghanistan, and things like that, diffusing IEDs, roadside bombs and things, just, and talking about their daily struggles. Even like going to the supermarket, someone might approach someone, ask them to get something off a top shelf, and it's, yeah, given the things that they've gone through, the way they react, yeah, it's, yeah, so the money raised for those service dogs, absolutely incredible. The charities that Harry and the work that he does is absolutely beyond commendable. And of course, a lot of that thanks as well, as Andy mentioned, it does go out to you guys as well watching, because you're all the ones tuning in, and you're the ones that are paying for these penalties, and yeah, keeping the racing fun. And as Andy said, it is an incredible way to raise fun. We'll all get to have fun, we'll all get to have a laugh, and we get to save lives, literally save lives while we're doing it. As Andy again mentioned, 35, your basic running costs for your 5 to 10 missions for adults, and a couple a day for kids, you're talking £30,000-40,000 for the service that they provide, and they don't take money from the NHS, unlike the rest of the government. They don't take money, so I'm on my bugbear there. No politics, John. Step off the high horse, put the soapbox back in the cupboard, concentrate on the racing. But yeah, so certainly a beyond worthy cause, one that I've had need of in the past. Thankfully, we didn't quite need it, but yeah, they were on standby and they were ready to go. We've had another anonymous penalty come in. If plus 40 can't slow 343, I drive through well. So right, Cheshire there, it's been decided. Even with 40 kilograms of ballast on the car, you are far too quick in that Mustang. You must report to the pits within the next 3 laps. To serve a drive-through. Not only that, you've got 10 seconds to serve at your next pit stop as well. Words completely escaped me there. It doesn't happen often. Make the most of it. We've got another anonymous donation coming in as well. £24, minus 20 kilograms of ballast for 863. Oh no, sorry, that was one that had previously come in. The total's now sitting at 200. £134. We are already halfway to our goal, folks, and we're only an hour and a half in. We've got 10.5 hours of racing to go. I'm going to be here for about 20-30 minutes or so, and then it's going to be Frey, who's in the chat at the moment, who's going to get all set up and is going to take over, and I will be here for the closing 2 hours as well. We'll have a crazy hour during my final stint, so yeah, I'm not saying keep your powder dry till then, but just make sure we've got something so we can really mess with the running order towards the end. Let's face it, you would just love to see Maurice Jones and the team lead the race all the way to the final hour, then just absolutely hammer them to finish last. Why not? Why not? It's a win-win situation. We'll all get to have a giggle with Ryan, and the charity would raise so much money, it would be ridiculous. So yeah, get yourself on board, and can confirm as well for anyone that's away. Tiltify link is fully working once again. Tiltify themselves were having a couple of issues in the background. They've got them all sorted. So yeah, get yourself over there. We've also got the fundraiser page if you want to read more about the work they are doing, and of course Andy has mentioned directly the air ambulance fundraising page. Keep up to date with all the fundraisers that they've got. I mean, you never know what's going on in your local area. Quizzes, standing in a field, watching Morris dancers. I've heard to do that type of thing south of the border. I don't understand it myself, to be fair. I'd rather toss a caber in a kilt, but there we go. Frey is back. What did I miss? An old man rambling in the commentary box while excellent overtakes have been taking place on track, and penalties left, right and centre. We've also been getting Andy here up to date on the sim racing ins and outs of endurance racing, pit stops and mechanics. Yeah, Frey, what car do you drive and why? Give us a question. I know you, I'm guessing it's a Ferrari or a McLaren, because you said you can't keep the back end in check. But then I was going to say I can't keep those cars in check. That's the only one I really drive, and I can't drive, so there we go. The AMG is an interesting car. Aerowise says Blood Wolf as well, so we've still got opinions coming in on the types of cars. But certainly the Mustang looking the meta at the moment. Got the fastest lap down to 141.372 over this stint, so still clocking pretty quickly, but going to be clocking his way into the pits as soon as the stewards pop that on. I'm just looking, Mustafa looking close for an overtaking. Oh, Edward Dan just having a couple of off-track excursions there. And just as well, Andy, there is also, like real life, there is penalties for track limits and speeding in the pit lane. So,
okay, cool. So what is the speed limit in the pit lane?
50 kilometres an hour.
Okay.
So the drivers have to slow down before, well, there's a white line, same as Formula 1. You approach the white line as quickly as possible, jam on the pit limiter and hope you're going slow enough. They do have to manually drive into the pit box themselves. We have seen drivers miss pit boxes left, right and centre. In fact, I did one of the top series in Australia on Friday morning. Yes, sorry, I'm working 4 time zones, so my brain gets confused sometimes. So yesterday morning, Friday morning for us, Friday night, top split in Australia. The top 2 drivers, and one of them is an ex-real life driver. He won the Gran Turismo Nissan thing. They both missed their pit boxes and added an extra 2.5 seconds to their pit time, which meant which brought the gap between them, the 2 of them, back together. So it's fine margins, but certainly those limits are enforced in game. So it's an in-game measuring system that decides the track limits for each car, and if you violate those track limits 4 times, you get a drive-through. If you speed if you speed on the way into the pits, you're given a stop-go 30-second penalty, and if you speed on the way out of the pits, you get a drive-through.
Wow. So yeah, so it's pretty strict then. There's not really much room for there's not really much margin for error, is there?
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely
and like
not.
you said, those things aren't enforced by the stewards. That's an in-game, so there's no arguing with that. There's no going to the steward box afterwards and seeing what you can debate. It's ones and zeros, and that's it made up, isn't it?
Exactly it. It is ones and zeros. There is a definite line, and if you cross it, and the thing is, those penalties as well, they're not per driver, they're for the car. So, if we're an hour in, say, and you've had a bit of argy-bargy on the opening few laps and you violated the track limit twice, you've got 2 track limit penalties for the rest of the race.
Crazy.
Yeah. And I've literally seen drivers come to the end of like a 12-hour race, and suddenly their lap time slows by 1.5 seconds, and I'm surmising, has he got damage? Is it tyre wear? Did he not put in enough fuel? No, I was on my final track limit warning, so I had to really watch what I was doing, and I've had to nurse the car
nurse it home,
for fear of that drive-through on the last lap, because I'm going to finish in 3rd. Might finish in 4th because I'm slowing down. If I take a drive-through, I'm 15th, I'm 16th, I'm suddenly nowhere near the top of the championship to win these prizes. So, and that is clumsy by Maddie Grace there. Garcia, sorry, that is a horror show attempt at an overtake. I'm not sure if they completely missed the brakes or what, and I don't know why the camera has suddenly jumped over. Sorry, we're going to have a look at that one. Where is Maddie Grace gone, Garcia gone, and why is the camera throwing me under the bus so badly? I love technology. I said no broadcaster ever. Where is Maddie Garcia gone? I'm very confused at the moment, folks. My apologies. Let me see what we're doing here. Where? Oh, okay, up in 2nd place. Right, so that was blue flags. That was blue flags, hence my confusion. Right, let's have a look at a couple of replays here. So this is Garcia on the Lexus. So yeah, so there is a blue flag involved. Yeah, so that is a battle going on ahead. Oh, and just absolutely piles in. Was never going to make that corner. I don't think Garcia was ever making that corner, especially with 2 cars ahead. So that is clumsy by Garcia, and that is going to be, I think, a penalty from the stewards. Completely misjudged the entrance speed there, and it is definitely something that can catch it out. In the slipstream, it not only helps the car go quicker, it massively reduces the amount of grip you've got and makes your tyres do a whole lot more work as well. And for every car in front of you, I think it's something like 15... How long is it you need to add? I should know this because I spend a lot of time at the back of the grid chasing a lot of cars into the pits. But certainly, if you're normally braking at 100 metres, if you've got 2 cars directly in front of you giving you slipstream, you need to add a good 10-15 feet at least yards, sorry, to your braking distance to compensate for the car ahead and the extra speed carrying. Garcia there, not able to do that, and really lucky to get away with no front end damage. That BMW looking in pretty pristine condition. I don't imagine the back of the car that took the contact is. Garcia still running in 2nd place, but massively compromised now. That gap has tumbled, and Daniel Cataldo, who again, a driver I know from a couple of other series, no slouch behind the wheel, and now getting to within, right to within slipstream distance. Cataldo is absolutely going to put the foot down. This is one, you got to know when to hold them, and you got to know when to fold them, and Cataldo is going to hold a quick line over the next few laps to keep applying that pressure, because he knows as well that Nikolai Polyakov, he's served these drive-throughs back out in 4th, does have that 30-second penalty, but does have a lot of traffic to work his way through as well, and that can be an advantage on some of the longer parts of the track, because again, you get a cheeky bit of slipstream, but through that final chicane, like a knife through butter, absolutely carving his way through. Yeah, so Cataldo and Garcia, we're now seeing a battle for the podium evolve. An hour and 40 minutes in. Of course, we are approximately 35 to 40 minutes into stint number 2, so the drivers have got about 25 minutes left, and in fact we do like to we don't usually use helmet cam, but here's a little cheat for you folks. If you jump on a helmet cam, you can see the race logic camera there. If I click there now, if you press Alt and D on your keyboard, it will change the race logic screen to live, and there we can see that Cataldo has driven for 38 minutes. He's got 26 minutes, as I just mentioned, left on his stint. Whoa, and he's got a lot of distraction, and that is a Mercedes non-aerodynamically sound bouncing off the wall, the max, and there is his current lap time. So yeah, if you want to know how long a driver's got left on their team, on their stint. Jump to helmet cam and press Alt and D, and it'll cycle through those displays, and you can yeah, keep tabs on your competitors while they're out on track. And if you're in a team now, let's, oh my goodness me, Chilcot Atalanta looking massively forlorn. That is going to be multiple incidents. Let's see if we can get to the root cause of this. I think it's this one here. Yep, here we go. Oh, and that's a battered and bruised BMW. That is the car that was involved earlier on. So let's see. Oh, it's through the second chicane again, but on the exit. Oh, and while still rotating. Oh, no, I think, was there another incident? Oh, he has had another incident. So, yeah, we'll watch this one. As I was explaining to Andy earlier, this game is very much a tyre pressure simulator, and what's just happened there, Andy, is he's put his foot on the... Yeah, so basically the tyres have spun, they've started to flat spot, but they've also drastically heated as well, as you can imagine, spinning tyres would. What that then does is throws off your pressure, gives you a lot less grip, and... what is the phrase I'm looking for? The law of diminishing returns kicks into place. You've then got to manage the tyres, and it's certainly something I know real life drivers are faced with, and it just goes to show how realistic these simulators are when something like that is so acutely vital, really, for having a successful race. Well, I think we might have lost Andy there. He is still in the commentary box. We'll see how long he is staying with us for. Oh, his microphone's flicking on and off. I still can't hear him. Have I done something crazy? No, let me just check and make sure I haven't switched them off. I'm now panicking. Tell you what, Andy, bear with me a moment. What I'll do is I'll pop you next door and bring you back in. Refresh your connection and... Hello.
Oh, how's that? There we go.
Oh.
Sorry, that was technical fault.
There we go, there we go, there we go. Yeah, no, technical faults with audio on a stream, Andy. I mean, it's totally unheard of. Yeah.
I was just saying to no one at all, because you couldn't hear me, that I suppose it must be quite hard for them to really get a feel for the tyres underneath them when they're not actually sat in the car themselves, and the aging on their tyres must be quite a hard thing to kind of compensate for.
Indeed it is, yes. Fine, as I say, I think until you've actually sat down and held a direct drive steering wheel, it's very difficult to understand the level of definition and information they give you. It is genuinely incredible. So they will actually they'll have decent information as to which tyres are struggling. It's just how far they can push them, sort of thing, and how close to... So yeah, it's kind of getting a feel for them again, as you say, because going into each corner, it's going to be slightly different how they react, because they're over temperature or under temperature or having a flat spot. There's nothing worse than a horrendous flat spot on your front left. Every time you brake, you feel your left hand about to shake off. As it
vibrates. So they're getting all of that through the steering wheel and through the rigs that they've got at home then?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Like I say, these direct drive motors that you get these days, the level of definition is absolutely incredible. They are direct drive, same as a real car. So if you drive off track and you bump one of the curbs or you hit a wall and the wheel is turned on the car, your steering wheel will kick back. It will move with the wheels, and if you can hold the steering wheel firm, the wheels on the car will stay where they are. But again, the level of definition that comes through is absolutely you should have a look and see if there's a sim racing centre close to you, and treat yourself to a day out and jump on one of these things, because you can actually tell which tyres are flat spotted, and you can instantly feel when the back tyres are starting to go. So it's not so much getting the feel of them, I don't think, and more readjusting to what their capabilities now are, type thing. It's the same. when you pick up damage, say, it's sometimes better to have a full frontal shunt or a full rear shunt, because if you take a shunt on one side, for the next 3 laps you're trying to figure out what the car's doing into each corner, because one half of the car is no longer doing the same thing, because these cars, as I've said before, they're held together with fairy glue, fairy dust, hopes and wishes. And none of those three things, none of those 3 things survive first contact with the walls. They're completely gone. So all these fancy little, in fact I'll pop it up on screen, all these fancy little fins and things you see. I know the BMW's got quite a few little bits on the front, so does the Ferrari. All those little fins, as soon as they go on one side of the car, that side of the car is going to do something completely different.
And is that something that they can fix in pits afterwards?
So just like real life racing, you can come into the pits and you can make repairs, but just like real life racing, you can't just stick a brand new bit of aerodynamic fin on the front, so you just tear off the flapping bit and make it less worse, hopefully. So you can repair them to an extent, but just because you hit repair doesn't mean the car is fully repaired. There may be some knock-on effects. There's just less flapping about and less drag from loose bits, so you've then got to figure out what the car's doing, and that again can have a huge knock-on effect with the tyre pressures. You could end up with one tyre. Oh, never mind, 2 seconds, Andy, because we've got a battle for the final 2 podium positions. It's Garcia versus Cataldo. They've gone side by side, and that is Cataldo has managed to take that position there from Madi Garcia, and Nikolai Polyakov has got himself involved. I did say he would get close. He's closed up 3 seconds while these two have been battling, and he is about to take himself 3rd place at the expense of Cataldo. That's Cataldo dropping down 2 positions in the space of 2 corners. Nikolai Polyakov making his way back up to 3rd, and Madi Garcia is now, Madi Garcia now in 4th. Cataldo is up in the 2nd. It's Garcia that's lost the 2 spots, sorry. The on-screen telemetry only updates every sector, as everyone knows. We need this particular one, though, for the penalty. So, yes, it is Cataldo that's up in the 2nd, Polyakov in 3rd, and Madi Garcia. In fact, let's see if we can get a quick look at how this fully unfolded. So that is Garcia in the lead, and we can see the exit out of that first chicane was just absolutely nowhere near good enough, and Garcia really gets absolutely jumped into that chicane, and because of that ends up concertining up, losing a bit of momentum, and that puts Nikolai Polyakov into the driving seat, into Toza, takes that inside line. They go side by side. Polyakov, with less grip on the inside, manages to get more acceleration and gets the nose of the car and holds his line in the middle of the track. And of course Garcia there, well within their rights to just hold that middle line and try and make it as difficult as possible, as we're going to see more door banging, because Nikolai Polyakov, while we're watching the replay, he's already got himself up in the 2nd place, and Madi Garcia is looking to retake 3rd at the expense of Cataldo, and that is now going to be Cataldo back down into 4th position. No, Garcia, just as I've looked away, they've made contact. I've looked at the timing and they've made contact. I heard an O there from Andy. Let's have a look at the replay. Bit of door banging there, Andy. It's live and it's fast and it's furious in the final podium spots. Oh, yeah, clumsy contact on that exit. And that is Madi Garcia after getting the brakes wrong into turn number 1 and making contact. There's contact on the way out of the first chicane, sorry, not turn number 1, the first chicane. And that is all changed. Nikolai Polyakov. Oh, and he's got a wayward BMW in front of him. And that is Cassandra's car from earlier on in the race. They have had a tough race so far. Lost their way through Aqua Minerale there. And that is Polyakov just giving them a bit of a bump on the rear. Cataldo now in 2nd. But yeah, Polyakov, we're just going to have to get a picture of a samurai sword and some butter on the side of his car. He is just carving his way back through the field. Of course, he took the lead into turn number 2 on lap number 1, made contact with Cheshire, dropped down to 11th position, and is now back up to 2nd after serving a drive-through. I did say he was quick, and you should. I tell you what, Andy, if you think this gentleman is quick in a GT3 car, you should see him in a GT4, the slower class. I was saying earlier, he's as quick as me in a GT. He's in a GT4 car. He's as quick as I am in a GT3. It's embarrassing and frightening all at the same time.
Amazing. Well, he's done incredible, hasn't he? He's come all the way back up the field like that as well. Still holding out hope for Garcia. I recognise the air ambulance logo they got on the side of their car, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know. I think a few of the drivers actually should have done it. In fact, we can use a little trick of the trade. We don't use it often, but special circumstances and all. Bang. Let's go for a bit of free can. This can be a little touch clunky. Sorry, where was the logo?
On the back left side, so on the other side.
Oh, there we go.
There's the other one just there as well.
Above the wheel arches. Very nice. So I'll tell you what we'll do.
Thank you very much.
In fact, let's go. I'm going to try and be a bit. There, look at that.
Look at that.
That's not bad.
Maybe needs a thumbnail for the race. There you are.
Yep. Oh, in fact, let me. Right. Okay. So I'm. Right. Let me line this up so you can actually see it on stream properly. It's not the most intuitive system to do this, Andy. I'm not going to lie. The game developers, they missed out. But I think, yeah, that looks not bad.
Look at that, smart. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Never thought you'd see the air ambulance service racing around Imola, but I'll take it.
Exactly. Get that one ticked off the bucket list. So yeah, absolutely done and dusted. But yeah, to be fair, this should be actually. You need to be getting onto real life teams and getting your logo on there. I would be, yeah, kicking down doors. If you need any help with negotiations, give me a shout. I will happily advocate. I tend to get what I want sometimes. But yeah, we'll keep watching. We've got actually. We are getting very close to the next round of pit stops. To be fair, let me know when you head in the comms box. Oh yes. There's been that much going on. I've actually ran over by 6 minutes. Frey is waiting patiently to get himself in here to take over. So yeah, we'll let him in just before the next round of pits while we gratuitously leave that on. Bear with me one moment, Andy. No
worries at all. I'm keeping an eye on the race for second place. I can see going on.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Good spot, good spot, good spot. Let's jump back over then. Yeah, they are keeping. He's even got his entrance beeps from. Frey, that is excellent. He even makes the sound of the F1 radio when he comes into the chat. Yeah, absolutely love to see it. Right, listen, folks, we're going to get Frey in, but I want to say a big, big, big thank you to Harry. For arranging this straight off the bat. Thank you very much, Harry. I'll be back for the last 2 hours, of course. Thank you to everyone who's taken part and to everyone especially that's donating. Where are we sitting at the moment? £234, so halfway to the total. So keep on donating. We've got the Tiltify link shared in the pinned in the chat. And what else I'm going to? Oh yeah, there we go. And this one here. Top right of this page, donation pricing. You can see what each donation costs and the rules and regulations around them. So yeah, checking you saw my car preference earlier. Oh, you know what? My stream has been patchy. My apologies, Frey. You know what? I did not. But we can ask him after I tried the 296. It drives the Aston. Right, okay. Yeah, not a bad choice. Not a bad choice. Could you add a replay overlay? So basically, unfortunately, yes, you know what? We could get something up that says replay. It doesn't. It does change the way ACC works, but I can maybe get something sorted for the second half. I want to say a big thank you to Andy as well before I hand him over to Frey. Andy, I cannot thank you enough for the stories that you've given us today. You're more than welcome to stay in or drop in and out over the next 12 hours. As I say, I'm out here. For the moment, Frey is going to be taking over. But as I say, personally, thank you for the money that you raise, because the service you raise is something close, near and dear to my heart, and I wholeheartedly understand just how life-saving the service is. So huge thank you to that. And from the sound of it, I do think we've just heard Argos getting ready to deliver a Logitech steering wheel. So we'll see him on track soon, I imagine.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you for your kind words and for your support and being here today. Honestly, it's made a huge difference. Thank you, mate.
No problem at all. And Frey, here he is, the man himself. Good afternoon, young man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It has been a hot minute since I've been in the comms box, so I'm happy to be back.
It is indeed. It has indeed, yeah, and it's great to have you back. Folks at home, if this guy does not have the best voice for radio and commentating, I don't know what I'm doing in this world. I really don't. But yeah, he is going to be taking us through the next couple of hours for this phenomenal fundraiser. We've had some serious action so far, but of course, the most important thing, Frey, we've gotten ourselves some serious donations, almost halfway to the total already, only 2 hours into the race.
I mean, it is incredible the fundraising efforts that we've had from everyone today has just been absolutely mental. So hopefully we can keep it going. The air ambulance service is always great. I'm a huge fan. Love what they do. And my nan used to work for the air ambulance, which is pretty fun.
Well, there we go. Absolutely perfect fundraiser for you to get involved in. And of course, you've got Andy here as well to keep you company. It's his first real experience of sim racing. He's a motor racing fan, so we won't hold it against him too much. But yeah, his first sim racing experience, and he is absolutely loving it. So he'll be here to keep you company for a bit as well.
Excellent. I mean, motorsport translates really, really well into sim racing. And I myself have been sim racing for maybe 3-ish years now. So I've got a bit of experience. I'm not that great, but you know, sometimes I get on the track, do a bit of driving, and that's all I can really give.
And well, listen, I'm in the same boat as you. Enthusiastic, no talent whatsoever, so I hide behind the microphone judging others that can actually do the job properly. So, yeah, there we go. Fun times.
Well, that makes 2 of us then, I see.
Indeed. Next endurance race, we should race together. Right, folks, that is more than my time up. I'm going to hand over to Frey. The stream will go silent for a few moments. We will remain with picture on the screen. There will be some technical wizardry take place in the background, and then Alakazam. It'll be Frey that's taking over the cameras and the microphones, and I'll be back for the final 2 hours. Hopefully, see you all then. But until then, stay safe, take it easy, and have a great rest of your day.